or not. Next update at 6:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
Jerry Preston, hope for the deal announced by President Trump to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, sending oil prices down overnight. Brent crude now under $83 a barrel, the lowest it's been since March. ABC's Olivia Rubin.
The Strait of Hormuz, which was open before the war, was a primary negotiating tool for the Iranians. A senior Trump administration official saying the deal would end the United States' blockade of the strait and lead to the dismantling of Iran's nuclear program and the U.S. getting Iran's highly enriched uranium.
This deal set to be signed Friday. Details on Iran's nuclear program supposed to be hammered out over the next 2 months. President Trump set to meet with world leaders at the G7 summit. He's on his way to Switzerland right now. Great Britain this morning announcing it will be the next country to ban anyone under the age of 16 from using social media. Confirmed cases of Ebola in Congo now up to nearly 800, over 180 deaths there. This is ABC News. Sunday was the final day of Joe Barbosa's mission to run every single street in the city of Chicago. ABC's Lizette Nunez is there with more on how the journey wrapped up.
It was nearly 2 years ago, Joe Barbosa, the Brazilian native, took on the ambitious challenge.
I just finished running every single street in the city of Chicago.
The Chicago runner documented his journey on social media, where he spread kindness and positivity. Several people tagged along the way.
The mayor joined me, so he was biking, I was running.
Those who joined him on his final run say his journey has been inspiring.
I've been following him on Instagram for a little bit, and I wasn't really running before, but watching him run the city was kind of inspiring.
Barbosa plans on spending more time in the city that has embraced him.
The Knicks won the NBA Finals Saturday night, and last night,
one of the best teams in the regular season and a brilliant playoff performance.
The Carolina Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup Final. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02 and we have mostly sunny skies, 58 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. In the news this morning, average gas prices in the region down almost 8 cents today. That's according to Gas Buddy, who says the average price per gallon for the region is $3.97. The national average sits at $3.99. Head of Petroleum Analysis, Patrick DeHaan, says this is the first time gas prices have fallen under $4 per gallon since mid-April. He says as long as a potential deal with Iran holds, gas prices will continue to fall.
And we've been telling you all morning about the sinkhole. It's a big one. Interstate 44 remaining closed between the Stan Musial Memorial and Poplar Street bridges for an extended period. The highway was shut down Saturday night around 5:30, about 24 hours after the collapse happened.
The city of St. Louis did not provide any information until late Saturday afternoon when KMOX requested an interview. The police department tweeted they were working with MoDOT to shut down 44. St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy in a Sunday press conference.
District officers and traffic safety officers responded quickly and safely shut down the affected roadways, and it assisted with traffic control in multiple directions.
Water Division Deputy Commissioner Spencer Gould.
Our crews, our trained team of water professionals responded immediately, and as we always do with situations in this scope, we coordinated with other utilities as well as MoDOT, the mayor's office.
MoDOT engineer Jen Wade says Interstate 44, directly over the collapse at Broadway and Biddle, has exposed underground structures for one of the columns that holds up the bridge.
Right now, that exposure is not severe, but the conditions on site have the potential to continue changing. Keeping traffic off the bridge above reduces vibration of the columns, preventing further exposure from developing. We are working with the city's contractor on shoring up the area around this column so the rest of the repair work can be done while the interstate is open to traffic.
Wade says as of now, they expect the Interstate 44 closure between the Musial and Poplar Street bridges to remain closed for at least a week. Other areas with closures, North and South Broadway at Cass. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
11 skydivers and their pilot died in a plane crash in Butler County, Missouri, Sunday morning just before 11:30. It happened just minutes after takeoff from Butler Memorial Airport. That's about 60 miles south of Kansas City.
Bates County Sheriff Chad Anderson.
The plane took off, and then at that point, it went down. We're not sure exactly anything beyond that.
It's believed that some family members and the deceased were there when the crash happened. Anderson says they brought in extra staff and clergy to help family members deal with the horrifying loss. The cause of that crash isn't known at this time.
Authorities say the body of a missing teenage paddleboarder has been recovered from Beach Lake in Newtown after an extensive search operation.
Emergency crews recovered the teen's body shortly before 8:40 Saturday morning. The St. Charles City Fire Department says the teenager disappeared after falling from a paddleboard just before 8:15 Friday night. He did not resurface. Officials say that witnesses immediately entered the water in an attempt to find him while first responders were dispatched. Search teams then worked into the evening and were able to narrow the likely location of the victim before suspending operations overnight. Recovery efforts resumed Saturday morning, led by the Metro West dive team with assistance from several local agencies. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
A Florissant man who threatened to shoot 2 daycare workers will be in St. Louis County Circuit Court this morning. According to Creve Coeur Police, James B.M. Mosley, a Florissant, called in that threat to the daycare center on Thursday. Fox 2 reports the facility was placed on lockdown. About 100 kids were at the center that morning.
The city's water infrastructure problems and the need for massive overhaul was present Saturday with a huge sinkhole. St. Louis alderman gave first-round approval to raising rates more than 80% over 6 years. Sponsor Michael Browning says years of artificially low rates have left the division deep in the red with century-old pipes and a backlog of work it can't pay for.
Without sufficient rate increases and without additional funds, it will not be possible to operate through the next fiscal year or replace and repair our aging infrastructure proactively or when it breaks.
City officials say St. Louis water rates have lagged behind St. Louis County and Kansas City for years, even as aging mains keep breaking. The rescue plan leans on the rate hikes, money from the Rams settlement, and borrowing. A final vote is still to come.
The Missouri auditor is sounding the alarm on the state's swiftly draining reserves. Does he think Amendment 5 would make things better or worse?
Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick tells KMOX he doesn't view it as doing either.
I don't view it as being better or worse. I view it as being tax reform, and the question before us in August is going to be whether we want to be a state that funds its government primarily on income tax or sales tax.
However, when pressed for an answer, Auditor Fitzpatrick says he believes eliminating the income tax would spur economic growth in the state, which should lead to increased revenues. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The developer behind the Midtown Data Center in St. Louis has been selected to redevelop a vacant industrial site in North County. The Land Clearance for Redevelopment Authority in the city of Wellston selected THO Investments to turn a 28-acre property into a manufacturing and logistics business park. THO will purchase the property for about $1 million. They're expected to invest about $40 million in the project.
We're going to check the roadways for you and the weather. Do keep in mind, if you're coming into downtown St. Louis, we do have a massive sinkhole that's causing some issues that you'll need to reroute. Stay with us here. It's 6:08.
A divorce is more than just legal paperwork. It's a life change. The stress, the uncertainty, the tough conversations. Cordell & Cordell understands what it's really like to face the unknown. The law firm of Cordell & Cordell has been representing clients during these transitions for over 35 years, helping you focus on what matters most. If you or someone you know is facing a divorce or family law matter, visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner.
Santana Oneness Tour 2026. The power, the energy. Come celebrate your favorite hits from Woodstock to Supernatural and beyond. With very special guest, the Doobie Brothers. This Saturday, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. On sale now at livenation.com. Santana and Doobie Brothers, Oneness Tour 2026.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. Lendseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Roger Brand, how are things looking downtown? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, at the top of the hour, I was saying that traffic was getting through, even though it wasn't supposed to be on eastbound 44, and folks coming off the Poplar Street Bridge were. Now, they still are. If you're coming off the Poplar Street Bridge, for some reason, you can still exit at Walnut. They were telling us, MoDOT was telling us that was not going to be the case. But they were also, 10 minutes ago getting on to eastbound 44, so they were driving through past that stretch that's supposed to be closed. Now, in the last 10 minutes, it looks like maybe, so I guess somebody thought they knew better and moved barricades and decided to do what they wanted to do. And it looks like they put the barricades back in place. Now, like I said, they're still getting off at Walnut from the Poplar Street Bridge. That was supposed to be closed, but at least they're not going from the Poplar Street Bridge onto eastbound 44 through that downtown stretch that is closed. Now, I have seen traffic coming the other way onto westbound 44, and that's folks coming on, I think, at that entrance ramp near the north leg of the arch. So that's past that elevated section of 44. So that looks like, that traffic is just local getting onto westbound 44 or southbound 55 from that point. So again, light enough volume, no backups per se. There's a little slowdown eastbound 44 at the bridge where you have to get on to the Poplar. Again, if you don't get off at Park, you're going to be forced to head into Illinois. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Sunshine mixed with some clouds today. Our high 78 and mainly clear tonight, though 59. Times of sun and clouds tomorrow. Watch out for a thunderstorm or two, especially in the afternoon. It'll become breezy to high 80. Wednesday, partly sunny, a breezy, hot, and more humid day with a severe thunderstorm later in the afternoon and evening, capable of producing flooding downpours, hail, damaging winds, and a threat of tornadoes as well. Wednesday's high 91. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:12, and right now we have sunshine. It is 58 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
And the news continues at 6:12. A 55-year-old woman has been taken into custody following the fatal shooting of a 54-year-old man. St. Louis police report the shooting happened Saturday evening before 6:30 in the 1400 block of East Aubert. The woman was still in the residence when police arrived. The victim died at the scene.
A driver of an SUV blew through a stop sign intersection Saturday night and T-boned an East St. Louis police officer who was in a fully marked squad car. That accident on the driver's side of the police officer. The accident happened just before 11 at Marybelle and North 76th. Both the SUV driver and the police officer were hospitalized.
Illinois State Police are releasing stats from their violent crimes suppression detail between last Thursday and Friday. St. Clair and Madison counties focused its efforts on East St. Louis and neighboring Metro East communities. The operation utilized intelligence and technology to focus enforcement efforts on known high crime areas.
In all, 24 people were arrested, 26 felony charges issued, 9 related to firearms. 2 of the arrests netted a large amount of marijuana. Another controlled substance included. The Metropolitan Enforcement Group of Southern Illinois provided additional support.
Law enforcement is highlighting the pressures officers face and the support systems in place following the suicide of a Missouri State Highway Patrol trooper in Callaway County.
Central Missouri says there's been a growing push by state lawmakers to make sure officers feel more comfortable asking for help and to expand available support.
Part of an omnibus crime bill that was passed, I think 3 years ago, requires law enforcement agencies to have their staff members seen by a mental health professional, I believe once a year, whether they need it or not.
Aller speaking with MissouriNet, he says officers in his department look out for one another and help ensure anyone who needs help has access to both professional counseling and someone to talk to. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
A new analysis is raising concerns about the long-term impact of federal health care cuts in Illinois.
Researchers with the Commonwealth Fund estimate the state could lose about 67,000 jobs by 2029 as Medicaid spending declines and enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies expire. The report says the economic effect would outweigh the benefits of a new federal rural health care investment program. Nationally, that same study projects more than 1.6 million jobs could be lost in the next several years, nearly half of them tied to the healthcare industry. Rachel Pearson, News Radio, 105.9 WBBM.
Congratulations to the Carolina Hurricanes. They are Stanley Cup champions for the first time in 20 years. Former Blues forward Rod Brind'Amour is their head coach, and the Canes won their first cup in 20 years. A suffocating defense that Carolina team has. Game 6 shutting down the Vegas Golden Knights 3-0, winning 3 straight games of a thrilling final filled with momentum swings and spectacular offense. Brandon Bussey, who was entrance late into Game 3, helped turn around the series, recorded his first career playoff shutout in stopping 22 shots. Jackson Blake backed him up with a goal and an assist, and Taylor Hall scored just .347 into the game to set the tone. Jordan Staal won the Conn Smythe Trophy for leading Carolina to the Cup. Staal was their top goal scorer in the final against Vegas, and for the entire playoff run was a shutdown center and an ace in the faceoff circle. Longest tenured player in the organization after joining in a trade from Pittsburgh in 2012. Staal has been captain for the past 7 years. He's the oldest Stanley Cup MVP at the age of 37. Brind'Amour and the Carolina Hurricanes get the win over the Vegas Golden Knights. Now we turn our attention to baseball. The Cardinals are moving right along here in the National League Central. They're in second place, but they have an obvious flaw, and that is bullpen. It is a problem. Right now, it is focused on George Soriano, but he came in to rescue JoJo Romero, who was in all kinds of trouble in the 7th inning. It was the 8th inning that eventually bit Soriano.
Ryan Kreidler, right-handed batter. The pitch on the way. A swing and a long drive. Left center field toward the bullpen, and it is off the wall. The go-ahead run scores. Back-to-back doubles by Kershaw and Kreidler. The Twins lead 5-4.
Cardinals lost the game 5-4. They have had their struggles in the bullpen, even in their win on Saturday 9-6. Riley O'Brien put traffic on the bases before getting through it. The Cardinals need to figure out not only the back end of the bullpen, but their setup relievers as well. They have all kinds of problems, as Ollie Marmol did admit that it will be interesting to try to navigate it tonight when they take on the Padres because they've used so many relievers. Part of the issue is the fact that they have not had their starters go deep into games, although Michael McGreevy fared quite well yesterday, pitching 6 innings and allowing just 2 runs, but the bullpen let the Cardinals down. One reliever who is really firing right now at Memphis is Luis Gastelum. A month ago, he allowed 6 runs in a game, but since then he's allowed 1 in 11 relief appearances, covering 14 2/3 innings. He's allowed only 6 hits in the last month and walked only 1 batter while striking out 17. We'll see if the Cardinals give Gastelum his major league debut anytime soon, or if they continue to go without dipping into the minors again for bullpen help. Much more on the Cardinals as we roll along this morning. I'm Tom Ackerman. An update on the World Cup and the United States victorious so far. Jen Cease at 622 on KMOX. And this is the home of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
6:20 and time for traffic. Roger Brand has the latest for us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it still doesn't look terrible downtown. I mean, it is early, obviously, but with the closure of 44, I was wondering how it was going to affect traffic early on. And right now, we're doing okay in that regard, although I am still seeing traffic coming off the Poplar Street Bridge and getting onto Walnut. They were supposed to have that closed, but that's just the ramp to Walnut. There's nobody getting onto 44, at least. This traffic report is a service of Community America Credit Union. So we just have a slowdown right now, eastbound 44 from Park up to the Poplar. Again, Park is your last option to get off into the downtown streets. Otherwise, you'll have to get onto the Poplar Street Bridge eastbound. So just keep that in mind. Coming westbound, like I said, that Walnut exit is open. It wasn't supposed to be, but there's no traffic now getting onto 44. So it looks like, I guess somebody thought they knew better and moved a barricade earlier, and that was allowing some traffic to get through. But they've since, it looks like, put the barriers back in place. And I'm not seeing any delays. Had a report of a stall. Megan Lynch mentioned about that on the westbound approach to the Musical Veterans Bridge. There is a little bit of a slowdown there, so be careful as you come around the bend from Packers Avenue. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Community America Credit Union helps you and me, shortstop Mason win. So win big. Cash back, free checking, win. No service fees or minimum balance, win. So yeah, you really can win with Community America. So can I. That's a win-win.
Weather forecast for today is very nice. It's a winner. Pleasant with sunshine and some clouds, high 78. Mainly clear, low 59 tonight. And then tomorrow, times of sun and clouds with a thunderstorm or two around, mainly in the afternoon, breezy in the afternoon, a high near 80 degrees. Currently, we have sun and 59 downtown at the Arch. The most popular sporting event in the world is on U.S. soil. It is the World Cup, and here in St. Louis, this proud soccer town is celebrating with watch parties throughout the region, none bigger than the one at Energizer Park. And Jen Cease was there as the United States defeated Paraguay in L.A. 4-1.
Well, it was great. Of course, we don't have the same kind of vibes there, but from getting there, I got there a little later than I wanted to. It started at 5, and it was already pretty kicking around 6:30 or so when I finally got there due to traffic, due to my kids had soccer practice. But yeah, it was great to watch music, listen to the music, watch people playing cornhole and washers and just talking about the game and getting really excited for it. And hearing from Mr. Soccer Bill McDermott, of course, our own Brad Davis, along with Kristen Carver with St. Louis City, talking about those previous years and what the United States had to do the Friday night to win. And pretty much everything Bill and Brad talked about, the United States did. And it was so great, too, because every activity that was going on, whether people were kicking balls with each other or playing cornhole or whatever, stopped about 10 minutes before the game started. Everybody sat down and everybody's eyes were glued on all those TVs at Energizer Park on the Louis Plaza. And it was just so great to see everybody rise up and hug one another. And I'm pretty sure some people were hugging each other that didn't even know each other, but they were so excited about the goal. And then it just kept coming.
Now, next up is Australia, and that's happening on Friday, Jen. That's going to be a day game, right? I think at 2:00.
That's right. 2 p.m. game against Australia. Again, just to look at that ranking again, Australia is 27th. So that's, a bit higher than Paraguay at 41st. So that's going to look like a different game for the United States. It'll be nice. It's kind of nice, definitely nice to have the beautiful game, the World Cup on our home soil, because we get to watch them at more decent times rather than overnight when it's held in other countries. But yeah, while Australia plays defensively, they will park the bus. They've got big guys in the back. They have a 6'6" defender. They've got those guys that can keep you out and really keep you out past the 18. So the only thing also you have to watch for Australia is once they find space on the United States, they're going to look to counterattack. And they are very, very dangerous in that counterattack as well. So the United States is going to have to take a little bit of a different approach with a team who wants to sit back, absorb pressure, let you keep coming at them, and just wait for the moment that you mess up so they can go forward and maybe put a ball in the back of your net. So it'll be a different game for Mauricio Pochettino to coach with this team come Friday.
I know there are a lot of watch parties going on in St. Louis, one of the great soccer towns in America. In fact, I drove through the Bevo neighborhood while Bosnia and Herzegovina was playing, and there was a group of fans spilling out into the street watching it on a big screen right there on gravel. I mean, it's awesome. And there are U.S. watch parties everywhere, but I'm not sure there's one better than the one at Energizer Park. So you have one this coming Friday against Australia, and then let's not leave out next Thursday. That's a late one now, 9:00 start against Turkey. So a really exciting month for St. Louis City SC.
Yes, for sure. And I think too, Tom, I saw something probably on socials when the USA was playing this first game. I believe it was somewhere off McKnight that the road was shut down because people had filtered into the street to watch the game on screens. People had their screens outside on their apartments or their homes so everybody could watch. So yeah, the environment is infectious. I love to see our home country get a little bit more taste of what this game looks like on a regular basis, not just the World Cup fever, but how other countries approach this game on a game-by-game, even club basis, and the excitement of that. So there'll be a lot of excitement in that. And then, yeah, we've got to look for the United States to come up big again against Turkey, who, again, that's their highest-ranked opponent in the group. They are 22nd. Australia's 2-0 win over Turkey was an upset. So they'll be riding high. This will be a good, really, really difficult game for the United States.
Next up for the U.S. this Friday, 2:00 against Australia. That's Jen Cease covering soccer and St. Louis City SC for Y98 and right here on KMOX. 6:27 time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Laderman Law Firm. Laderman is spelled Laiderman. Laderman Law Firm. You can find them online at ladermanlaw.com or call 314-514-9100. I'll repeat that number in just a moment. But, you know, I hear all the time from people that say, well, I have an estate plan. I think I do. Yeah, we did that years ago. We've been meaning to look at that again. Well, estate plans are not one and done. And at the Laderman Law Firm, it isn't just paperwork. It's an ongoing process, and that's the big difference here. They build your estate plan to protect your family and your property, and then for a fixed annual fee, they actually help maintain it so it stays aligned with changes in your life, your assets, and the law. If you're in the St. Louis metro area, including Illinois, and you want an estate plan that actually works, call the Laderman Law Firm. Again, that website is ladermanlaw.com. You can check it out right now, Laiderman law.com, or call 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
At Odyssey, we believe in creating a diverse and inclusive workforce. We also value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be notified of all our open positions. That's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for all our listeners, please visit odysseyinc.com/careers for a list of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
It's not really a sports show. It's just a show.
So I don't really have a sports show, but I love the Cardinals. I am born and bred St. Louis, went to my first game like so many of you, 4 years old. Couldn't believe how green it was standing there next to the players with my dad. And now I go with my kids. You get it. So when you listen to the DGS, it's going to be a slice of life happy hour, but we're always going to talk Cardinals.
The Dave Glover Show at 1. Then stick around for Cardinals baseball.
It is 6:30. We've got tons of sunshine right now downtown. It's 58 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's a little more volume downtown, and we have slow traffic coming across on the Musel Veterans Bridge. Tom, I mentioned a stall is our own Megan Lynch. In fact, she just sent us a photo. She's got Ida out there helping her out with a flat tire. That's great, but that right lane is backed up on the bridge. They're over to the shoulder, but just give them some room as you get by. But it is slow coming across on the Musel Veterans. Well, westbound 64 is also slowing as you enter that work zone at 3rd Street, just past the King Bridge, where those right lanes are closed. There's still a little bit of a slowdown. Eastbound 44, park up to the Poplar again. If you're not getting onto the Poplar Street Bridge, Park Avenue is your last option downtown to get off the interstate. Down south, northbound 55 is a little slowdown in McNutt, approaching 141 to the Merrimack. Seeing a backup on Tesson Ferry coming in about midway between Butler Hill and Madison. It's backed up, and also eastbound 30, Mauer Industrial up the hill to 270. You're backed up there as well. Things look good out west, Wentzville area, southbound 61, eastbound 64 and 70 fine, and 270 still good to go from South County all the way through the construction zone at Ladue. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, we are looking at a really nice day. Sunshine and some clouds, a high of 78 today. Now, we do have thunderstorms maybe tomorrow afternoon with a high near 80, but then Wednesday we'll see maybe some strong thunderstorms with some hail-damaging winds. We'll get up to 91 on Wednesday, but then things cool off into the upper 70s for Thursday. It's sunny and 58 now.
St. Louis aldermen voted for a water rate hike, which initially gives an 18% increase, and increases will top 80% over 6 years. For the average household, that's up about $37 more a month by 2032. Alderman Michael Browning acknowledged the timing is rough.
We know that this increase comes at a time of increasing costs for everyone. And it's common sense that when it's more expensive to buy groceries and it's more expensive to buy gas, it's also more expensive to run the water division.
Saturday's massive sinkhole shows the desperate need for overhauling the city's underground infrastructure. Browning says the bill tries to soften the blow with 50% discounts for low-income residents, seniors, and victims of last year's tornado. It needs one more vote before reaching the mayor's desk.
We want to be very clear. This is not a commercial airliner that has crashed. It's a local airplane that took off from our local airport.
Bates County Sheriff Chad Anderson not giving a specific number of people who died in a non-commercial plane crash Sunday morning. Broadcast reports indicate 11 people plus the pilot died in the crash. 11 passengers on board were skydivers, some first-timers.
We're still trying to identify family and make notifications, and so we're going to be respectful of that.
Anderson says more staff along with clergy have been brought in with the family at the scene of the plane crash.
It is going on 6:34. We'll take a break here, and then we've got your Bloomberg Money Minute. It's Total Information AM.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
$6:35, your Money Minute, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The U.S. and Iran say they've reached an interim agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, sending stocks soaring this morning. Officials from both sides are planning to formally sign the deal on Friday. S&P futures are up 94 points. Dow futures are rising 470. Meantime, SpaceX hit the market on Friday in the biggest initial public offering in history. It has cemented Elon Musk's status as the world's first trillionaire. SpaceX shares rose a whopping 19% in their trading debut, and this morning continuing its climb higher. And streaming platform Roku is in talks to sell itself. Sources tell us Roku has been in discussions with at least one American media company about a potential combination. Potential buyers could see value in the company's ability to reach and engage with large numbers of viewers as consumers have cut the cord on cable TV. More than 100 million households are using its streaming platform. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It's not your typical game day look. Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals face the Miami Marlins, and fans can receive a soccer-style Cardinals jersey presented by Purina. Clean, sporty, and unmistakably Cardinals, it brings a fresh energy to the ballpark from first pitch on, and kids take home a vibrant Cardinals soccer ball to keep the action going long after the final out. 2 ways to play, one big Sunday. Get tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fredbird and games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family-favorite activities, Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Grammy award-winning quintet Punch Brothers returns to Powell Hall for a special evening of genre-defying contemporary bluegrass music, featuring the virtuosic talents of mandolinist Chris Thiele, guitarist Chris Eldridge, bassist Paul Cowart, banjoist Noam Pikielny, and violinist Brittany Haas. Punch Brothers creates music and lyrics that are both intellectually daring and emotionally resonant. This is modern string music at its most thrilling, bold, brilliant, and unforgettable. Wednesday, June 24th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the Padres.
Cameron Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:39, traffic and weather in 1 minute. President Trump is touting what he says is the great deal he made with Iran, the president claiming it will bring peace and security to the entire region. But ABC reports the fate of Iran's nuclear program, a major red line for both parties. appears to still be unresolved. Officials say the deal would include a 60-day ceasefire, during which time there would be further nuclear negotiations.
A deal with Iran on the eve of the G7 summit. Protesters already clashing with police in Geneva ahead of the summit, with some altercations turning violent as police fired tear gas. ABC reports France, which is hosting the summit, is hoping to ease those tensions and project unity.
Anthropic says it has taken its newest AI models offline following a Trump administration directive to ban their use by foreigners. Anthropic says the government didn't provide specific details about why they wanted them to shut down this model for foreign nationals, but thinks the government had become aware of a method called jailbreaking, or bypassing the safety guardrails of their advanced model. ABC reports now their view is that it wasn't as serious as the government made it, and that it was a simple issue that they were referring to.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a little busy in certain areas, especially downtown, but it's not terrible yet, thankfully. This traffic report's the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. In fact, Rich and Ken, I think they're trying out for a NASCAR pit crew. They made quick work of making Lynch's flat tire. It got her back on her way. In fact, the delays we had, they've all thinned out. It looks great coming across the Museo Veterans Bridge right now, so that's fine. If you're going to go for the Poplar, of course, you got that roadwork slowdown that has you bogged down from the 70 split up to 3rd Street. Once you get across the bridge, they're still letting folks get onto Walnut. You see, you can get off and exit at Walnut. You just can't get onto 44, obviously, because it is closed between the Poplar and Museo Veterans Bridges. Eastbound 44, you've got heavy traffic from 55 getting up to that Poplar Street Bridge. Again, if you don't get off at Park, you're going to have to get on to the Poplar and head into Illinois. Southbound 255, seeing a backup at Horseshoe Lake Road. Northbound 55, north of Richardson up to the Merrimack, slow. North 270 starting to slow down Doherty Ferry to Manchester, Clayton Road up to Ladue, and eastbound 30 backed up Mauer to 270. Tesson Ferry, almost Butler Hill to Mattis is pretty solid. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
6:41, and time for us to get a check of the forecast as we start a new week here in the middle of June, and it feels lovely, Joe Lundberg.
It really does, Debbie. We're expecting temperatures to stay in the 70s to maybe near 80 today, and that's it, with sunshine and some clouds and, of course, low humidity. And tonight should be mainly clear, another comfortable night, upper 50s. Sun and clouds tomorrow. Could be a thunderstorm or two darting through the area. They'll come and go pretty quickly. There could be some gusty winds with them as that breeze picks up. We're high only about 80. Now, it does become hot and more humid on Wednesday. Partly sunny skies, and later in the afternoon and evening, worried about severe weather, and everything's on the table with that. Hail, damaging winds, tornado threat, yes, downpours again. 91 are high. Behind that front, it'll be cooler and less humid Thursday with more clouds and sun and a risk for a shower or thunderstorm, the high 77. We'll end the week much like we begin it, with sunshine and a high of 81. Right now, it's 58 with sunshine at St. Peter's, 60 in Florissant, 63 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:43, sports in 2 minutes. UK banning social media for children under the age of 16. Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced it today, saying he believes big tech is fully capable of making great products while also protecting children.
I do not accept, and I will never accept, that you can't be both pro-tech and AI and at the same time say we must protect our children. In fact, when I look at the brilliance of the innovators in AI and tech, I know very well that it is possible to do both.
Determining how social media might affect the mental health of young people. A recent study from Australia followed nearly 1,200 young people looking at their mental health outcomes as well as their use of social media. They found that just 2 hours a day or more of social media was associated with an increased risk of harm. We get more from ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton.
Do we expect to see these effects in later adolescence, high school? We all remember that can be a difficult time, but studies show that using it during the ages of 12 and 13, these children face the highest risk. Researchers noted that the effects were roughly twice as large when looked at during this time period than compared to later adolescence. And girls, unfortunately, were also seemingly more at risk.
The price of gas dropping about 10 cents a gallon over the last week. ABC's Melissa Aiden has has more.
Consumers still face the most volatile summer at the pump in years, but experts do have these good tips to help you save at the pump if you're planning that summer road trip. Make sure your car has its latest oil change, tires are properly inflated, leave on time to try and avoid stalling in traffic, make cruise control your friend.
A UFC fight at the White House last night drew about 4,000 people to the South Lawn and thousands more to the Ellipse outside the White House.
The president and first lady sat ringside. The matches happening inside an arena built just for the event, including a custom-built octagon under a massive overhead structure called the Claw. 14 athletes competed in 7 fights.
Got to thank President Trump for making this happen.
It's the first professional sporting event ever held on White House grounds. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, in Las Vegas, the Stanley Cup was on the line, and it goes to the Carolina Hurricanes.
And they're going to clinch it appropriately with a total team effort and a shutout. The Carolina Hurricanes have won the Stanley Cup for the second time.
Sean McDonough with the call on ESPN and ABC. Rod Brindamore is the coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, former Blues forward, and just a stifling defensive effort by Carolina over the latter part of that series. After a lot of goals were scored early, they shut it down. Brindamore and this Carolina team, 3-0. They beat Vegas. They claimed the title for the first time in 20 years. It's been 15 years since the Cardinals won the World Series, and they are in search of win number 12. They're going to have to figure out this bullpen if they want to make a run here this year or in the following years, because yesterday things did not go their way late. George Soriano.
Ryan Kreidler, right-handed batter. The pitch on the way. A swing and a long drive. Left center field toward the bullpen, and it is off the wall. The go-ahead run scores. Back-to-back doubles by Keyshaw and Kreidler. The Twins lead 5-4.
And they won by that count, 5-4. It was not all George Soriano's fault. The problem came that the Cardinals had Jojo Romero only record an out and gave up hit after hit after hit. And it was Soriano who had to rescue him in the 7th, and then he gave up the winning run in the 8th. I talked to Chaim Bloom, Cardinals president of baseball operations, recently about the bullpen, about pitching in general.
Yeah, and obviously the last couple of days have showcased that, right? I mean, including from some guys who have done some good work, and it just wasn't there the last couple of days. The short answer to your question is yes. I do think we have guys that are coming. I don't know if we would have said that in the same way on opening day, but as the season has gone on, we've got some guys there who are pitching their way into our picture, who are advancing on the goals that we wanted them to advance on, and really, showing some things at the AAA level. And I do think as we get deeper into the season, it's really something we talk about literally almost every day, is where are these guys at and when's the right time to introduce them and bring them here to contribute. We don't want to be too knee-jerk with the guys who are here in a sense, right? There's some guys that are contributing a ton on our club, really on both sides of the ball, who at one point it would have been easy to throw up your hand and say, we want anybody else than these guys. And then you turn around and you look and they're doing good work. We've talked a lot about bringing Soriano in here, coming off a stretch like that with another club and seeing a little more in there. So we want to make sure we're not selling guys short just because some of those bumps have happened with us. And at the same time, there's pressure and there's competition coming from some of these guys at AAA. So short answer is yes. Who we see and when, I don't have any concrete answers for you yet, but it's definitely something as we get deeper into the summer, whether it's temporarily, whether it's permanently, there are some guys who are doing some good work down there that we want to give a chance to contribute, just like we've started to see on the offensive side from some of those guys coming up from Memphis.
Cardinals president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom, if I may offer a suggestion of a pitcher who might deserve a look, Luis Gastelum. In the last month, after giving up 6 runs on May 13th, he's given up 1. 11 relief appearances, 14 and 2/3 innings, allowed 1 run on 6 hits. He's walked 1, and he has struck out 17. Probably has the best changeup in the organization. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And there is a great service called St. Louis Composting that is ready for you. St. Louis Composting knows that top dressing your lawn with Field and Turf Enhancer to get that essential organic matter back into your soil is really important. Look, it's about to get really hot around here. We all felt that brutal Missouri drought last summer. Top dressing makes your lawn significantly more drought resistant. It means a healthier yard and a lower water bill this year. Check them out. St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com. Soil with 5% or more organic matter is the gold standard. It creates better structure, it locks in nutrients, and it dramatically improves water retention. St. Louis Composting has 9 retail locations all over the St. Louis area. There's one right around the corner from you, or you can have them deliver it. At stlcompost.com, you can figure out exactly how much soil or mulch your project requires and then have it delivered. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
My very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark, $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now, cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
6:51 and time for us to get you updated on traffic and weather. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We got delays coming into downtown from a couple of different points, Debbie. This traffic reports a service of Scott Credit Union, westbound 64, Baugh Avenue and 5570 at Exchange. They back up onto 64 through 3rd Street, where those right lanes, of course, are closed. Also have delays southbound 255, approaching Horseshoe Lake Road. We have roadwork, I believe, going on in that area as well. Northbound 55, the roadwork delays are about midway between Richardson and 141 up to the Merrimack. Northbound 270, Big Bend up through Doherty Ferry, and then a couple of slow spots, Clayton Road and past 64. It's just a little busy around there. Tesson Ferry's backed up just north of Butler Hill all the way up to Mattis, pretty solid. And eastbound 30 slow approaching Mauer, going up the hill to Highway 270 out west. Southbound 61 delays north of Wentzville Parkway, down as you ramp onto eastbound 70 out in Wentzville as well. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Think buying a home is out of reach? Think again. Scott Credit Union has down payment options as low as zero money down. Your new home could be closer than you think. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
Pleasant today, high 78. Clear tonight, low 59. Tomorrow, a thunderstorm or two in the afternoon, high near 80. It's 59 right now.
The news continues at 6:52. St. Louis residents' curbside trash and recycling collection will be a little bit different this week due to Juneteenth. If you are a city resident with Monday, Tuesday collection, the trash will be collected today and your recycling on Wednesday. If you're a resident with Tuesday, Friday collection, your trash will be collected tomorrow. STL Recycles says there will be no yard waste collection this week. Instead, it'll resume next Wednesday.
Up to 7 new locations of Potbelly sandwiches are coming to the St. Louis region. The first will open this summer in the Central West End in the old Einstein Bagel location. According to the Business Journal, franchisee Todd Stimson already operates the existing Potbelly locations in Clayton, Creve Coeur, and St. Charles.
A vacant lot in Wentzville will be the site of a new Dutch Brothers coffee drive-thru. That Oregon-based coffee chain opened its first location in O'Fallon last year, then in Edwardsville, Fairview Heights, and Bridgeton. The Wentzville location will be at Wentzville Parkway and Neela Road.
The St. Louis Zoo. The next time you go there, you may see 2 fuzzy additions. 2 trumpeter swan cygnets have joined their parents in the lake habitat near the Bayer Insectarium. The babies hatched on May 27th and 28th and weighed less than a pound during their first days at the zoo.
And so from swans to butterflies, the University of Illinois Chicago reaching a major milestone in its nationwide monarch conservation effort.
When was the last time you saw a monarch butterfly? If you're of a certain age, you saw a lot growing up, but it's rare to see one now because of habitat loss. A butterfly conservation effort led by the University of Illinois Chicago now has 100 partners nationwide. It's a massive voluntary agreement between the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the nation's energy and transportation sectors. It covers 1.3 million acres in 47 states. It commits these partners to managing rights of way to create and improve and protect millions of acres of pollinator habitat. Jan Coleman, 1059 WBBM.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. We got a ton of birthdays today. Local celebrities include Ella Gross, Dan Crum, Olivia Moses, Bob Puricelli, Ernie and Jody Hughes celebrating an anniversary. That's from the Life Group. Happy anniversary, Judy and Rich Schutzenhofer of Collinsville. Happy birthday wishes to Susan Cross, Kristen McMahon, Diane Kriegshauser, Ray Clifford. Happy 29th birthday to Andrew Ornelas from Babu and the family. Birthday wishes to Frank Ziller, Eileen O'Neill Shannon, Carolyn Lynch, Tom Sullivan, Vern Beckman. Happy 70th, Maureen Armstrong from the Church Chicks, Gwen Berkey from GNO, and Barbara Williams turning 96. It says she has been working for the city of Bridgeton for more than 50 years now and still plays golf. So happy birthday.
They celebrate a birthday with Helen Hunt, who's 63, Courtney Cox, 62, Ice Cube is 57, and Neil Patrick Harris, 53.
This is the best birthday ever.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is 100. They started in 1926, and they are going strong a century later. The ones with the red ribbon, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. When it comes to garage doors, they're the ones you should think of because they, invented the overhead garage door. The garage door gets a lot of use in the summer. We all know that. People are coming and going. People are taking things in and out of the garage. Do your garage door a favor. Annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. It's a 26-point tune-up, and it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. So get them all done for one price. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. They are never going to steer you wrong. Great people. The technicians are awesome. And one thing I love about Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is they won't try to sell you more than you need. You ask them to fix the garage door, that's what they do. They don't say, you could use a new garage. They're just going to do the job. And that's called integrity. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Check them out online, overheaddoorstlouis.com. The ones with the red ribbon, the genuine, the original.
This summer, there's no better place to catch Team USA in the FIFA World Cup 26 than the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch. We hosted KMOX listeners there last week, and trust us, the atmosphere is incredible. Huge screens, great seats everywhere, ice-cold beer, $15 Michelob Ultra pitchers, $20 Ultra buckets, $5 Ultra drafts, and collectible FIFA cups while supplies last. Bring your crew, cheer on Team USA at the Beer Garden. Visit BudweiserTours.com for details.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. And look, I've been using Burn Balance Complex since the week that it was released, and you notice the benefits really soon after you get started. Look, what Burn Balance Complex is a complete metabolism system. It is not just a fat burner. It works with your body, not against you, right? It's not bringing a lot of the negativity that other supplements bring. It's nothing but the good stuff. It's a natural weight loss option for people that just don't want prescriptions or injections. Get that. I understand it. And to me, Burn Balance Complex is the best thing I've used when it comes to natural weight loss. Also helps with reducing stress and lowering cortisol levels. You're going to get appetite and cravings control along with that, plus all-day focused energy with no jitters, which is the best part. Look, it's not magic. You got to put in the work. Burn Balance Complex makes putting in the work that much easier. So get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off for you right there on the spot. And you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Time for us to get you updated on the ride in with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, downtown, westbound 64, Baugh Avenue to 3rd Street's bumper to bumper, eastbound 44, a little busy at the Poplar, north 270, Doherty Ferry up through Manchester, and 64 through Ladou's kind of slow as well. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No press conference on Saturday, but Sunday afternoon, the city of St. Louis briefed the media on a massive sinkhole in downtown St. Louis. I'm Maria Aquino with details.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. 11 skydivers and their pilot died in a plane crash in Butler County Sunday morning. We'll have more at the top of the hour.
I'm Sean Malone. The Missouri State Auditor says the budget is out of balance. Would eliminating the income tax and replacing it with a broader sales tax make things better or worse? I've got that story coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A nice day today with sunshine and some clouds, high 78.
I'm Tom Ackerman. The Cardinals are coming home, but they have an issue. The bullpen. We've got to figure it out here. It's 7.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. After announcing the tentative peace deal with Iran, President Trump is now on his way to the G7 summit in the French Alps. ABC's Rachel Scott is in nearby Geneva.
President Trump had been publicly urging our allies to get more involved in this conflict, but all of them have refused, expressing frustration with the war. Protesters already clashing with police here in Geneva ahead of the summit. Some altercations turning violent, police firing tear gas. France, which is hosting the summit, is hoping to ease tensions with the U.S. and project unity. Also invited to this year's summit, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He spoke with President Trump by phone. They will be meeting.
The tentative deal with Iran, which includes reopening the Strait of Hormuz, but leaves talks about Iran's nuclear program for later. It's due to be signed on Friday. Great Britain this morning announcing it will ban anyone under 16 from going on social media. Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell is in the hospital. No word yet on why. Fox Corporation has just announced it struck a deal to buy Roku, maker of the streaming TV devices. This is ABC News. A Scottish invasion in Boston as the Tartan Army marched to Fenway Park for Sunday's Red Sox game against the Texas Rangers. They were there for the World Cup match a day earlier. Here's ABC's Ariel Metropolis in Boston.
This was quite literally a sea of kilts and Scottish people singing and bagpiping and chanting. And what's been so incredible is they're just all so happy to be here.
I don't think Boston realised what was coming to it, though.
It's been absolutely brilliant. The people have all been so friendly and welcoming.
Do you like the Bostonians? Everyone who went to the match told us that going to and from Foxborough, they had no issues at all.
Boston bested Haiti in their World Cup match Saturday. Carolina Hurricanes bested the Las Vegas Golden Knights 3-0 last night's Stanley Cup championship. The Hurricanes winning 20 years after taking home their first Stanley Cup. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 7:02. We have sunshine. It's now 60 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand will have the restrictions downtown due to a sinkhole, a massive sinkhole that opened up at Broadway and Biddle. It actually happened Friday evening, we now know. However, it wasn't until early Saturday morning that reports started circulating.
The decision to shut down part of Interstate 44, which is directly over the sinkhole, did not happen until Saturday evening around 5:30. Water Division Commissioner Spencer Gould.
We coordinated with other utilities as well as MoDOT, the mayor's office, and everyone locally to ensure to get the information out as best as possible.
Gould says the top priority was to stop the water leak. Street Department Director Kent Flake.
We recognize here over the next week or longer that this is going to have significant issues for drivers, commuters, pedestrians, everybody in the area with some road closures.
North and southbound Broadway closed at Biddle, traffic being diverted onto Tucker. Engineer Jen Wade is with MoDOT.
44 has exposed underground structures for one of the columns that holds up the highway bridge. Right now, that exposure is not severe, but the conditions on site have the potential to continue changing.
Only the eastbound 70 express lanes are closed.
The movement from I-70 eastbound that becomes I-44 westbound is closed. So all traffic wanting to go towards downtown must get off at the Tucker Boulevard exit.
Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
A tragedy in Butler County, Missouri, Sunday morning. A plane carrying 11 skydivers and the pilot crashed. All were killed. Bates County, Missouri Sheriff Chad Anderson.
So we have brought extra staff in, clergy to be with the family, and they've got a staging point down farther down closer to it. Those numbers are increasing as we stand here and talk. You imagine with multiple people, multiple agencies have responded, from fire departments, from the coroner's office, multiple coroner's offices have reached out for assistance.
The FAA was on the scene Saturday afternoon. The NTSB was en route.
The body of a teenage paddleboarder who fell into Beach Lake in Newtown Friday night has been recovered. More from KMOX's Ivy Lyons.
Recovery crews located the teen's body at around 8:40 Saturday morning. That was following an overnight search effort. According to the St. Charles City Fire Department, the incident began at around 8:12 on Friday evening. That's when a teenage male fell from a paddleboard and failed to resurface. Bystanders entered the water and searched while 911 was called. Firefighters and other emergency responders showed up and continued searching for several hours before suspending operations overnight, citing safety concerns amid those evening storms. Officials say the Metro West dive team led recovery efforts Saturday morning with support from multiple agencies. They also expressed condolences to the teen's family. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
Authorities have identified the teen as 17-year-old Anselm Zomiwu.
Another attempted street takeover downtown. St. Louis Police spokesman Mitch McCoy said in a release, officers and undercover detectives work to disperse crowds, enforce curfew and trespassing laws, and connect juveniles with their parents or guardians. McCoy said a dozen teens were detained, 3 taken into custody for resisting arrest. The youngest was 13. McCoy says several of the youngsters told police they were dropped off by parents or guardians. One parent cited for contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
McCoy posted on social media a photo of the intersection of 8th and Chestnut. A Florissant man who threatened to shoot 2 daycare workers will be in St. Louis County Circuit Court this morning. According to Creve Coeur Police, James B.M. Mosley of Florissant called in that threat to the daycare on Thursday. Fox 2 reports that the facility was placed on lockdown. About 100 children were at the center that morning.
Average gas prices in the St. Louis region down almost 8 cents today, according to Gas Buddy. The average price per gallon in our region is $3.97. The national average $3.99. Head of Petroleum Analysis, Patrick DeHaan, says this is the first time gas prices have fallen under $4 per gallon nationally since mid-April. He says as long as a potential deal with Iran holds, gas prices should continue to fall.
Following Saturday's massive sinkhole downtown, which is likely from a water main break, the Board of Aldermen gave the green light for a plan that would push city water rates up more than 80% over the next 6 years. Supporters called it painful but necessary to rescue a utility sliding toward failure.
The bill's sponsor, Alderman Michael Browning.
Today, it will take the courageous action of the Board of Aldermen to raise the rates to ensure that this public utility stays public and can continue to deliver safe, clean water to every resident and business in the city of St. Louis for generations to come.
The vote was 12-2 for a typical household. Bills would climb roughly $14 to $18 a month the first year, and up to about $37 more a month by 2032.
The state auditor is warning Missouri's budget is out of balance and swiftly draining funds. Would Amendment 5 make things worse?
Auditor Fitzpatrick believes it would help, arguing lowering the income tax would increase economic activity.
And when you have stronger economic growth, a byproduct of that is the state tax revenues generally increase as well.
Fitzpatrick says he agrees with Governor Kehoe that the states performing the best are those without an income.
Here, and when we come back, we'll have traffic and weather for you. Stay with us here on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
A divorce is more than just legal paperwork. It's a life change. The stress, the uncertainty, the tough conversations. Cordell & Cordell understands what it's really like to face the unknown. The law firm of Cordell & Cordell has been representing clients during these transitions for over 35 years, helping you focus on what matters most. If you or someone you know is facing a divorce or family law matter, visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. Joseph Cordell, principal partner.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100.
.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's check back in with Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center. How does it look downtown?
Well, it's not bad, considering what's going on downtown. But, I do want to let folks know that, while you're driving this morning may be kind of difficult, you have a couple of extra options for the afternoon because there are ramps downtown that lead on to westbound 44 that are not closed. We're talking about that ramp, the Memorial ramp that comes down from Washington to get onto westbound 44. That's open because, again, that's just to the south or to the west, however you want to call that, of the overpass, a stretch of 44 that's closed, and also that ramp that comes from Spruce onto westbound 44 on the just a little south of the arch is open as well. So in the afternoon on your drive home, you have a couple of different points you can get on the highway. But getting off the highway, like we said, 44 is still closed between the Poplar and Regional Veterans Bridges. That Walnut exit, though, is still open for Illinois drivers. They said that would be closed, but you can get off from the Poplar onto Walnut. You just can't get onto 44 itself. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 Ball Avenue is backed up to 3rd Street. We also have a crash in the work zone on westbound 5570 about midway between 255 and 111. So there's a jam there. And we had an incident. It looks like they just cleared it. I guess it was a stall eastbound 270 just east of the Chain Rocks. Things look better for you there. Northbound 55, the right lane's a little busy at Butler Hill. North 270 approaching Clayton Road up to Ladou's slow. Westbound 64, Big Bend through Hanley's a little busy in the Richmond Heights area. And South 170 getting on to eastbound 64 is slowing at about Brentwood. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunshine mixed with some clouds today. Our high 78 and mainly clear tonight, though 59. Times of sun and clouds tomorrow. Watch out for a thunderstorm or two, especially in the afternoon. It'll become breezy to high 80. Wednesday, partly sunny, a breezy, hot, and more humid day with a severe thunderstorm later in the afternoon and evening, capable of producing flooding downpours, hail, damaging winds, and a threat of tornadoes as well. Wednesday's high 91. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now in downtown St. Louis, sunshine and 61 degrees.
Sports on the way in just 3 minutes. It's 7:12 on Total Information AM. Continuing the news this morning, a woman has been taken into custody following the fatal shooting of her 54-year-old boyfriend. St. Louis police report the shooting happened Saturday evening before 6:30 in the 1400 block of East Aubert. 55-year-old Constance Mason was still in the residence when police arrived and found the deceased victim. Mason was charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action and remains jailed without bond.
Illinois State Police are releasing stats from their violent crime suppression detail between last Thursday and Friday. St. Clair and Madison counties focusing in their efforts on East St. Louis and neighboring Metro East communities. The operation utilized intelligence and technology to focus enforcement efforts on known high crime areas. In all, 24 people arrested, 26 felony charges issued, 9 related to firearms. 2 of the arrests netted a large amount of marijuana and another controlled substance. The Metropolitan Enforcement Group of Southern Illinois provided additional support.
The recent suicide of a Missouri State Highway Patrol trooper is shining a light on the pressures law enforcement officers face every day.
Fulton Police Chief Bill Ladwick says suicide awareness and prevention is something they need to work harder on, not just as first responders, but as a community.
The need to be able to openly talk about mental health struggles is greatly needed. One of my favorite community behavioral health folks uses the term a checkup from the neck up. We see a lot of things sometimes more than once a shift than what some people will see in a lifetime.
Ladwick tells MissouriNet his department offers mental health support for officers. This includes counseling resources and group debriefings with other agencies after traumatic incidents. The Missouri Department of Public Safety also offers crisis counseling and other resources for officers. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
More World Cup matches happening across the U.S. today as teams from across the globe compete for soccer's biggest title, the LA Coliseum, ground zero for the biggest watch parties on the planet. It's the home of what's being called the FIFA Fan Fest, where selected matches are being shown on gigantic screens and lots of live music performed to keep people entertained between games.
So we're local and usually I'm just sitting at home watching the game, but you get to come. It's only every 4 years.
It's very fun. It's very packed and it's very good. The vibe is there. The energy is there.
This is such a fun way for people to come together, and you get to try different countries' foods.
Of course, there are watch parties in St. Louis as well.
Yes, there are. As Energizer Park, the Anheuser-Busch Beer Garden, just among those. Let's get the latest from our broadcasters with the Cardinals.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. And yesterday at Target Field in Minneapolis, the Cardinals saw the Twins score 2 in the 7th and then 1 in the 8th to win 5-4, taking 2 out of 3 against the Birds on the bat.
Really good start from Michael McGreevy, who went 6 innings and gave up 2 runs. Quality start for him, but the Cardinals bullpen faltered in the 8th and the 9th inning. The home run by J.J. Weatherholt late looked like it might be a Cardinal winner, but the Cardinals did not pick up enough runs.
Alec Burleson also hit a home run in the game, extending his hitting streak to 14. It was the end of a hitting streak for Jordan Walker at 10 as he went 0 for 4. The Cardinals tonight will play against the San Diego Padres, the first of 3. It's only a 3-game homestand, 6:45 tonight and tomorrow, and then 1:15 on Wednesday. It's Dustin May, 4 and 6, and airtime is 5:50 from Busch Stadium. The Cardinals and the Padres back home tonight.
Downstairs to Chip Carey with Ollie Marmol.
Ollie, a 3-3 road trip. What do you take from these last 6 games?
Yeah, I like what we were able to do in New York. Some good games here, a lot of back and forth, a lot of offense. And feel like we kind of let them off the hook a little bit. It would have been nice to take 2 of 3 here. Unfortunately, we weren't able to, but there were some bright spots in the road trip for sure.
Yeah, power certainly is one of them. You hit a bunch of homers in this series. Alec Burleson and J.J. Weatherholt, 2 big bombs.
Yeah, Burley got into another one. That was good to see. And then J.J., good swings today, drove in 3. And Churchy with a couple hits today as well. So there's some bright spots in what we did over the last several games.
3 of your starters went 6 innings. Michael McGreevy today, he needed that. I think your bullpen needed that.
Yeah, man, our bullpen's been taxed. Tomorrow's going to be interesting in how we navigate that one. But it was good for him to go out there and give us 6. Soriano did a nice job today, left a sweeper up for that run. But other than that, I thought he looked good.
I know we don't often talk about opposing players, but we saw why Byron Buxton is a superstar when he's healthy.
Man, he's an impressive player, and just the way he carries himself, it was fun to watch him across the way. Obviously, it's better when we're not the one having to get him out, but he did a really nice job, tough at bat, and just an incredible athlete.
And last one, now you get set for San Diego, a club that you played very tough out west. You split 4 with them.
Yeah, this will be a good series, and it'll be good to get back home, play in front of our fans, and go from there.
5:50 pregame, 6:45 first pitch tonight. The Stanley Cup is once again in possession of the Carolina Hurricanes.
And they're going to clinch it appropriately with a total team effort and a shutout. The Carolina Hurricanes have won the Stanley Cup for the second time.
First time in 20 years, Sean McDonough with the call on ESPN and ABC. Rod Brindamore, former Blues forward, is the head coach of the Canes. Cut of the game sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen.
Izzy, what's going on, man? You know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing. Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass. Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all that mowing I have to do around the property. Do it for St. Louis, do it. Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's? Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick. What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with? Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods. Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
Hey, if you're trying to sell a home, maybe you had an open house over the weekend. Maybe you've had a lot of open houses on a lot of weekends and a lot of people coming through, or maybe no one at all. That could be the case as well. You need an agent who can sell your home. Wouldn't it be nice if that came with a guarantee? Well, it does when you call Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria Lou will guarantee in writing that she'll sell your home or she'll buy it herself. So if you're tired of worrying about it, some of Gloria's best clients are people who've had other agents, sometimes multiple agents, and then they come to Gloria and their home sells. So she sells hundreds of homes a year, and she'll sell yours too, and she'll put that in writing. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. Give her a call at 314-325-6888. Ask all your questions, 314-325-6888, or find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
We want information on traffic. We turn to Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got this jam downtown, Tom, on westbound 5570. It runs from 255 about midway into 111. There's a crash in that construction zone, so be advised, a pretty solid bumper-to-bumper backup there. Southbound 255, delays coming down into Horseshoe Lake Road in that roadwork area. And, of course, westbound 64 between 25th Street and Ball Avenue is bogged down to 3rd Street, where you lose those right lanes, again, due to road work. Eastbound 44 downtown, not bad, coming up to Park Avenue, but eastbound 70 is a little bit busier. I think we'll call it between Grand and Salisbury, where you're starting to see delays. Of course, the express lanes are closed due to the closure of 44 between the Poplar and Musical Veterans Bridges. Northbound 55, the right lanes are a little busy at Butler Hill. North 270 is slowed down at Gravois and Doherty Ferry all the way up to Ladue. 64 westbound Bellevue Big Bend area out to Hanley's kind of slow. And eastbound 64 a little busy out west at Prospect. A truck fire reported northbound 21 at the Highway M exit, so watch for emergency crews headed that way now. Next update at 7:30 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Zero Res wants to help you clean your home. Big summer savings this week only. Get 3 rooms cleaned for just $129 and get your 4th room cleaned for free. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the DGS special. ZeroResSTL.com.
It is 7:21, and it's going to be a lovely day today. So the heat and the storms are nowhere to be seen today, at least. Sunshine with a high of 78. We could see a thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. Otherwise, sun and clouds, high near 80 tomorrow. It's going to be 91 on Wednesday with some strong storms moving through on Wednesday. So that'll knock things back to the upper 70s for Thursday. Right now, it's sunny and 61 degrees.
It's 7:22. You might have heard this before. Have you ever heard him give the statement on Flag Day? Flag Day is the day that Mike Claiborne determined when you know if the Cardinals have a real contender or not. A mile marker day, if you will, for the Cardinals broadcaster on Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX.
So let me kind of set the table on how we arrived at this. Between spring training and June 14th, you go through a lot of things. You have good weather, you have bad weather, you have injuries,
This isn't
you
any
have
good.
people who surprise you, you have people who disappoint you, you have cold streaks, hot streaks, you have road trips, you probably go to the West Coast at least once, and you really have an idea of who you are, and not only as individuals but as a team. And that means from the manager on down. Does he have enough? Does he have enough for support? And all those things you really can determine by today. And with that, you say to yourself, okay, this is who we are. What do we need to be better? And you have time. You don't have to wait until the trade deadline like some teams do. And then all of a sudden they think the chemistry is going to click, and sometimes it doesn't. So in this situation, you have a chance to know who you are, know what you need, and know where to get it, because it also includes the organization. Your scouts are out looking at other teams as well and seeing what players could fit in with this ball club. You also have teams that say to themselves, all right, are we renters or are we buyers? And there's a difference, because if you're looking to just move a guy at the deadline just because he's on a 1-year contract or you feel like you have something better, you move him, but you have to understand you're not going to get like their number one prospect in return. So you can be a buyer, which means you're going to be willing to move someone of value for someone plus of greater value or reasonably equal value, but maybe greater value at the position you're searching for. So that's how you come to where you're at now. So with all that said, excuse me, I really like where the Cardinals are. I mean, you're 8 games over 500. You look at the division, everybody's trying to figure out who they are. It's amazing. When we started the month, everybody was really happy about the fact that everybody in the division is over 500 or at 500. Well, that's changed a little bit. We're starting to see a little bit of separation. You're starting to see some teams that are really trying to figure out just who they are. And the Cardinals are one of them. So when you look at them as a ball club, you say to yourself from a ball club perspective, okay, what do you look like at first base? You're set. Second base, you moved Donovan to see if Weatherholt could fill that void. Mission accomplished so far. Mason Wynn is playing well. Then you had the situation at third base where you moved Arenado in his contract to see if Nolan Gorman could fit the bill. Didn't work. You go to the outfield. Lars Nootbaar didn't return until recently, so you had a number of different people playing left field. Some of them were okay, and some of them, it gave them the opportunity to move to center field when you think of Nathan Church. Jordan Walker is obviously the surprise of the season. In spring training, you saw him like everyone else. We were kind of scratching our heads saying, maybe they ought to leave him in Memphis. Well, that would have been a huge mistake because he's one of the best players in the game right now as we speak. Your catching situation is one that you like to be better behind the plate as far as throwing runners out, and then Pages was able to do it, but offensively he didn't give you enough. You had Jimmy Crooks you wanted to get a longer look at. Herrera wanted to catch, so you give him 2 days out of the week, and he's been good so far. I think the home run power, I think he sacrificed with his catching because I think there's a lot more that goes into catching these days than you think. So there you have your 8. Now we get to the most important part, pitching. And if there's one need in this ball club, they need more pitching, period. And you can talk about another starter, but I think you have to look at your bullpen because you need 2 legitimate closers, okay? The game has changed where, you just call down the bullpen and here comes Suter, or here comes Chapman, or here comes whomever. And you could do that because you had a starting staff that could give you more than 5 innings, which meant you didn't have to use a closer every night like you do today. I mean, you have a team now with the Cardinals who have two pitchers who can't get through the 5th inning. And that's a problem because it all of a sudden puts more angst on your bullpen on a regular basis. So there are going to be nights where you won't have certain people because of the night before. There are going to be nights where you're going to need a shutdown closer, but you used him 2 nights in a row, and he's not going to be available to you. And one of the great things about Oliver Marmol is the fact that he knows how to manage a bullpen. He and Dusty Blake have done a phenomenal job with some short pieces.
And last night, coming home, trying to understand what this week is going to look like, was a very important conversation between Ollie Marmol, Dusty Blake, president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom. We will ask Chaim about the bullpen and rotation situation coming up at 7:45 as we continue to analyze the Cardinals following Mike Claiborne's Flag Day statement right there on the club. It's 7:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For the last 33 years, Banner Construction has prided itself on quality craftsmanship with creative work on exterior home restoration. Tom Ackerman for Banner, you know this to be true. We all want the lowest price. Who wouldn't? But this is your home. It's your biggest life investment. Be careful of people who cut corners to win your business, folks. Banner Construction believes the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering a restoration project is who do you hire? Who you hire is Banner Construction. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Window specialist. That means that James Hardy Siding, Pella Windows prefer Banner Construction put in their products. Banner's design team will show you affordable design options you never thought you had. Banner Construction, they know how much you love your home. Their goal is to make you fall in love with it again. 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
The Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want up to the amount you're approved without chasing the loan officer. Number two, the bagel loan, no closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast. 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan in MLS 226715.
It is 7:30. We've got sunshine, 61 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand, I think you're right about that. It doesn't look too bad downtown. Overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, at least coming in from the south side, Tom, if you're on eastbound 44, there's some slow traffic just past Park Avenue, really coming up to the Poplar. And again, if you don't get off at Park, you'll have to get onto the bridge headed into Illinois. Eastbound 70 is the busier approach in. Still not backed up at Grand, but between Grand and Salisbury, you're hitting the brakes and it's bumper to bumper all the way. And again, you either have the Musel Veterans Bridge to get into Illinois or Tucker is your last exit point coming into downtown via that route. On the Illinois side, we have these delays southbound 255 about midway down from 162 to Horseshoe Lake Road. Westbound 5570 from 255 midway into 111 is not as solid of a jam as it was earlier, so it looks like they cleared that crash, but that is an active construction zone. And westbound 64 Baugh to 3rd Street due to the road work there is heavy. Northbound 270 north of 55 to Gravois, and then Big Bend all the way up to Ladue is heavy. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley slow. Eastbound 64 looks good out west. It's just slow from 170 to Big Bend. South 170 delays at Ladue. South 270 approaching Olive to Ladue is slow. And eastbound 70 is just a little slow passing 64 there toward Highway A, and that's part of that merge on traffic from southbound 61. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is really going to be beautiful. Just sunshine and some clouds, a high of 78 degrees. Tomorrow, a high near 80 with sun and clouds and maybe a thunderstorm or two around in the afternoon. On Wednesday, it gets hot with a high of 91. And then we could see some strong thunderstorms, some severe ones moving through Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening. And that's going to cool things back down into the upper 70s again for Thursday. It's sunny and 61 now.
It's 7:32. Missouri Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick says the budget is too large and risks draining the reserves without serious cuts. Does he think Amendment 5, which phases out the income tax and replaces it with higher and new sales and use taxes, would help? When KMOX asked, he initially said he doesn't believe it would make things better or worse, but added this.
You can expand the base of the sales tax pretty significantly and not have to raise the sales tax rate a ton to replace the income tax.
Pressed for an answer, Fitzpatrick said he believes replacing the income tax with an expanded sales tax would drive economic growth and raise more revenue.
11 skydivers and their pilot died in a plane crash in Butler, Missouri, Sunday morning just before 11:30. It happened just minutes after takeoff from the Butler Memorial Airport, about 65 miles south of Kansas City. Bates County Sheriff Chad Anderson.
The plane took off, and then at that point, it went down. We're not sure exactly anything beyond that.
It's believed that some family members of the deceased were there when the fiery crash happened. Anderson said they've brought in extra staff and clergy to help family members deal with the horrifying loss. The cause of the crash is not known at this time.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:34.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. Like that morning status meeting, always better with bagels. And don't forget the coffee. Ops team working late? How about some Power Bowls to keep them going strong? Sandy's celebrating 10 years at the company. This calls for cupcakes. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's a World Soccer Championship Team Spotlight, brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
South Africa opens the tournament against co-host Mexico in a fitting spotlight. Bafana are an energetic, attack-minded side led by a mobile striker and fueled by wide play, always capable of the spectacular on a big stage.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. The U.S. and Iran have agreed to an interim deal to end the war and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Stock futures are soaring while oil prices are slumping on the developments. Officials from both sides will meet on Friday to sign the deal. Also on the radar for investors this week, the Federal Reserve gathers for its first meeting to be overseen by new chairman Kevin Warsh. The central bank is widely expected to hold its benchmark rate steady when the two-day meeting wraps up on Wednesday. He was handpicked by President Trump, who has made it no secret he believes the Fed should aggressively lower interest rates. And OpenAI is under investigation by a coalition of states who have requested information from the ChatGPT maker on a wide range of topics. OpenAI says it's cooperating with the probe and adds that it's taking concerns raised by the state attorneys general seriously. The company declined to provide details on what was requested or the states involved in the probe. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the college is paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, I got a great idea for a watch party. It involves a cold beer in your hand. It involves U.S. soccer up on a big screen. You got all your favorite people around you. You're having a good time, and you're right near downtown St. Louis. You want to take a guess where that is? Well, I'll tell you. It's the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch. Yes, they are doing watch parties as well, and they are awesome. And I can tell you, we just did an event at the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch. What a great space. You ever been there? What a great space that is. We did that event with Ozzie Smith, Matt Adams, and Al Roboski. We had a huge crowd there. The beer is cold and as fresh as you can find it because it's right there at Anheuser-Busch. FIFA World Cup 26 from the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch. $15 Mick Ultra pitchers, $20 buckets, $5 drafts in collectible FIFA cups while supplies last. Visit BudweiserTours.com. The next one's Friday at 2 o'clock, USA against Australia. BudweiserTours.com.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER. I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Considering buying or selling a home? When it comes to the Gelman team with eXp Realty, numbers don't lie. Over 1,500 Google and Zillow 5-star reviews, nearly 6,000 homes, and $2.5 billion in real estate sold. Call 314-336-1991, thegelmanteam.com.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Today we'll be visited by Greg Amsinger of MLB Network and Cardinals broadcaster Mike Claiborne, among others. 7:40 right now. It's Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, backups on the Illinois side headed into downtown right now. If you're going southbound on 255, midway down from 162 to Horseshoe Lake Road is busy. That's one of them. This traffic report's a service of Financial and Tax Strategies. The others are westbound 5570 from 255 midway into 111, and a jam on westbound 64 from 25th Street to 3rd Street. On the Missouri side, eastbound 44, just kind of slow approaching the Poplar downtown, where, of course, 44 is closed both ways between the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges. More traffic on eastbound 70, but it's still not backed up to Grand, but just east of there, it is bumper to bumper up to Tucker. Again, that's your last option to get off into the downtown area unless you're headed into Illinois across the Mutual Veterans Bridge. Southbound 170 backs up at Delmar. Eastbound 64, you've got slow traffic now from just west of 141 or east of Timberlake, running through Mason and then McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64 approaching Hampton to Hanley's heavy. Southbound 270, 364 to Ladue, slow. North 270, busy as you ramp on from 55, slow at Gravois, and then Big Bend all the way up to Ladue is heavy after that. Next update is 7:50 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
It's going on 7:42. Time to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg, and it feels more like early May than mid-June out there today.
It really does. You know, we've got some very comfortable weather in place right now, and temperatures are probably not going to make it to 80 today, despite a fair amount of sunshine. And tonight should be clear and very comfortable once again. Not bad here for the last days of spring officially, the overnight low 59. It'll stay relatively comfortable tomorrow with sun and clouds. A weak front moves through the area, and with it could be a brief thunderstorm or two, maybe some gusty winds with it as they roll on through later in the day, the high near 80. Now, it does become breezy, hot, and more humid on Wednesday ahead of a storm system that's a powerful thing that will roll across the northern plains towards Chicago and Detroit. And as it does, I think the risk of thunderstorms is going to grow throughout the day, particularly in the late afternoon and evening hours. And those thunderstorms could very well be severe with flooding, downpours, hail, damaging winds, and yes, a threat of tornadoes. We'll get to 91, but that's our day of heat for the week. Behind that front, cooler, less humid Thursday with clouds, some sun, and a shower or thunderstorm in spots, the high 77. And we'll end the week with sunshine and a nice day, the high 81. 63 with sunshine at St. Peter's, 64 in Florissant, 64 with sunshine downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Joe, thanks very much. Sports coming up in 2 minutes. It's 7:43. UK banning social media for children under the age of 16. Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced that today. Starmer said he believes big tech is fully capable of making great products while also protecting children.
I do not accept, and I will never accept, that you can't be both pro-tech and AI and at the same time say we must protect our children. In fact, when I look at the brilliance of the innovators in AI and tech, I know very well that it is possible to do both.
Determining how social media might affect the mental health of young people. A recent study from Australia followed nearly 1,200 young people looking at their mental health outcomes and their social media use. They found just 2 hours a day or more of social media was associated with an increased risk of harm. We get more from ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton.
They followed nearly 1,200 young people, looked at their mental health outcomes as well as their use of social media, and they found that just 2 hours a day or more of social media was associated with an increased risk of harm. We're talking about depressive symptoms, a poor sense of well-being, and even risk of self-harm.
The FDA, medical professionals, and the company that makes Benadryl are warning teens and parents about the potentially deadly risk posed by a TikTok challenge. ABC's Jim Ryan says it's already claimed lives.
The viral dare posted to social media encourages young people to take up to 25 Benadryl tablets at once to achieve a euphoric high, even hallucinations. Richard Preston's daughter tried it last week.
She was perfectly fine Sunday. Within 24 hours, she's laying lifeless.
Hundreds of kids have been hospitalized after overdosing on the over-the-counter allergy medication. At least 5 have died since the TikTok challenge was first issued in 2020. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
By now, you have heard the issues the Cardinals had in Minnesota. Yes, they won a game on Saturday 9-6, but even in that game, they had a shaky ninth inning from Riley O'Brien. Blew the game on Friday, 3 home runs given up by Ryan Stanek. Blew the game yesterday. Jojo Romero put too many on the base paths and gave up some runs. George Soriano threw one bad pitch, gave up a run. Cardinals lost 5-4. The bullpen, that is a problem. I talked it over with Chaim Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations. Is there anyone that they could go get to help things out?
Yeah, and obviously the last couple of days have showcased that, right? I mean, including from some guys who have done some good work, and it just wasn't there the last couple of days. The short answer to your question is yes. I do think we have guys that are coming. I don't know if we would have said that in the same way on opening day, but as the season has gone on, we've got some guys there who are pitching their way into our picture, who are advancing on the goals that we wanted them to advance on, and really, showing some things at the AAA level. And I do think as we get deeper into the season, it's really something we talk about literally almost every day, is where are these guys at and when's the right time to introduce them and bring them here to contribute. We don't want to be too knee-jerk with the guys who are here in a sense, right? There's some guys that are contributing a ton on our club, really on both sides of the ball, who at one point it would have been easy to throw up your hand and say, we want anybody else than these guys. And then you turn around and you look and they're doing good work. We've talked a lot about bringing Soriano in here, coming off a stretch like that with another club and seeing a little more in there. So we want to make sure we're not selling guys short just because some of those bumps have happened with us. And at the same time, there's pressure and there's competition coming from some of these guys at AAA. So short answer is yes. Who we see and when, I don't have any concrete answers for you yet, but it's definitely something as we get deeper into the summer, whether it's temporarily, whether it's permanently, there are some guys who are doing some good work down there that we want to give a chance to contribute, just like we've started to see on the offensive side from some of those guys coming up from Memphis.
I believe you can ill afford to have a starting pitching injury. As it is, you have a couple of pitchers, Liberatore and Leahy most recently, who have difficulty once they run into the 4th, 5th, or 6th inning. How do you see that right now? And could you be creative? Do you start to morph into using more bridge relievers, more hybrids? How do you see all that?
Well, we got a little bit of a taste of that, right, with a sort of an opportunity that got thrust in our laps a little bit when we brought Hunter up a couple weeks ago. And obviously we want to keep him on a starter schedule too. I think that's really important to do with all 6 of these guys, just knowing that we're about to enter, we're actually already entered like a really tough stretch where, it's going to beat your guys up a little bit. It was huge for him to be able to contribute some in long relief and then still keep him available to be able to start that last day in New York so he could give everybody else a blow and keep them strong. And, certainly that is something that as we look at these guys in AAA, the ability to go multiple innings is really critical. We saw it obviously with Swanson. We've seen it with Graceffo in the past. Having those guys to help insulate you when you do want to get aggressive with a starting pitcher is important. I will say this. I think it's important for us understanding that not everybody is the same and there is an art to learning how to turn over a lineup, that third time. I don't think when you zoom out and you look at starting pitchers, it's that you're ever well served to say, hey, this guy can and this guy can't. Because first of all, guys do make progress, they change, and we also know just from a lot of both just good old common sense and a lot of research that some of this is just the hitters getting more comfortable, and everybody's really susceptible to it to some degree. It's just that certain guys, whether it's because of the depth of their repertoire or the way they pitch or just an ability to switch things up on guys in terms of approaching hitters when they turn that lineup over, they might be a little less susceptible to it.
It is a work in progress right now for the Cardinals, who dropped one yesterday to the Twins 5-4. Carolina wins the Stanley Cup. We've been highlighting it all morning. A 3-0 win over Vegas. First Stanley Cup title for the Canes in 20 years. It's time for our parlay of the day. It's sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. We got the Knicks, got that done. New York Knicks, I told you they were going to win the title. They did do that. Now I'm going to try to guess who's going to win the U.S. Open this coming weekend. Now, the favorite, Scotty Scheffler, I think that's an easy one, but at plus 500, it's not the biggest value. In my opinion, that would be Cameron Young at plus 1,800. I see Bryson DeChambeau down there at plus 2,800. I don't trust Bryson to win that thing. Xander Schauffele at plus 2,100 is interesting, but I'd go with Cameron Young plus 1,800. Sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special themed ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
The weekend starts at Busch Stadium. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou. With $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
Get ready for a night back with legendary hits and non-stop energy. Brian Adams is bringing the Roll with a Bunches tour to Enterprise Center Friday, July 24th.
Hello, this is Brian Adams.
Sing along to the classics as Brian Adams delivers an unforgettable night of rock anthems. Plus, special guests Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo. Brian Adams, July 24th. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:52. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, still no change on the Illinois side, Debbie, as far as delays on 64. You're still a solid jam from 25th Street over to 3rd Street. 5570 has thinned out pretty well between 255 and 111, but it is slow at Exchange, merging with 64. Southbound 255 midway down from 162 to Horseshoe Lake Road. That's still heavy. I'm also seeing heavy traffic on westbound 270 approaching the Chain Rocks Bridge. Downtown, eastbound 70. Some folks are getting off at Grand. I think the earlier you get off, the better. But traffic past there is starting to bog down just a little east of Grand. And again, it goes all the way to Tucker. That's the last point you can get off eastbound 70 unless you're headed into Illinois. Southbound 170 looks like there may be an incident at Page. And it's slow from Olive all the way down to 64. Westbound 64, Science Center to Hanley's pretty heavy. Eastbound 64. A couple of spots east of Clarkson to Timberlake, east of 141 to Mason, and then Lindbergh all the way in is slow. South 270, Dorset down through Olive is the busiest part. North 270, north of Gravois all the way up to Ladue is heavy. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Nice day today, Roger. We're looking at a high of 78 with sunshine, clear tonight. low 59. Tomorrow, chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon. It'll be breezy, a high near 80 degrees. Currently, it is just a beautiful morning. Sunny in downtown St. Louis, 64 degrees.
Up to 7 new locations of Potbelly sandwiches coming to the St. Louis region. The first will open this summer in the Central West End in the old Einstein Bagel location. According to the Business Journal, franchisee Todd Stimson already operates the existing Potbelly locations in Clayton, Creve Coeur, and St. Charles.
The vacant lot in Wentzville will be the site of a new Dutch Brothers coffee drive-thru. The Oregon-based coffee chain opened its first area location in O'Fallon last year, then opened in Edwardsville, Fairview Heights, and Bridgeton. The Wentzville location will be at Wentzville Parkway and Nela Road.
The developer behind the Midtown Data Center in St. Louis has been selected to redevelop a vacant industrial site in North County. The Land Clearance for Redevelopment Authority and the City of Wellston selecting THO Investments to turn a 28-acre property into a manufacturing and logistics business park. THO will purchase the property for about $1 million. They're expected to invest about $40 million in the project.
A new report predicts Illinois could lose tens of thousands of jobs because of federal health care spending cuts.
The Commonwealth Fund estimates the combined impact of Medicaid reductions, fewer Affordable Care Act enrollees, and cuts to food assistance programs could cost the state about 67,000 jobs by 2029, roughly a 1% decline in employment. Researchers say a $50 billion rural health care fund included in the federal spending package won't offset the broader economic losses. Nationwide, that same report projects more than 1.6 million jobs could disappear in the next 3 years, with healthcare expected to be one of the hardest hit sectors. Rachel Pearson, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Many restaurants are closed on Mondays, which is probably a good thing because many chefs will be in Chicago today. Several St. Louis restaurants included because it's the competition for national titles, the 2026 James Beard Awards, featuring 5 local restaurants, including Robin, a finalist for Best New Restaurant, Vicia, a finalist for Outstanding Restaurant, and Louis, a finalist for Outstanding Hospitality. 2 local chefs nominated for Best Chef in the Midwest, Nick Bogner of Sato and Pavilion and Lauren Nolick of Balkan Treat Box.
I went to Balkan Treat Box on back-to-back days last week. My daughter's babysitting nearby. So I was like, man, I'm hungry. I'm going to get something on my way to get her. So I got Balkan Treat Box. The next day, I'm like, I really could go for something on the way to get her. I went back again.
I chose
ridiculously
Balkan
good.
Treat Box when I went to the last City game because they have a food booth there at Energizer Park. And when I got it, I thought, this is huge. I'm never going to be able to eat this.
You ate it.
It was so good. I ate the entire thing.
I mean, not to go over the top here, but Balkan Treat Box, I don't know if it could be any better. I mean, it's about as close to perfection as we have in town. 7:56.
The Gatlin Brothers and Crystal Gale are coming to the Family Arena for one magical night of country and Christmas, December 17th. It's the Gatlin Brothers Farewell Tour, and Crystal Gale is joining them to celebrate an evening of country's greatest hits and beautiful Christmas music. Don't miss the Gatlin Brothers and Crystal Gale. Tickets are available at the Carroll House Furniture Box Office at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster.
Nikki Dolan, 60 years of the Monkees. One night celebrating the music from their hit TV show, The Monkees, and a generation of adoring fans. Friday, November 13th, 7 p.m., the Family Arena. All the biggest hits and intimate stories from the groundbreaking hit show. Nikki Dolan's. On sale at the Carroll House Furniture Box Office at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
You can never have too many tools. Shop DeWalt deals at Lowe's. Get a free Select DeWalt 20-volt max power tool when you buy a Select 20-volt max 5 amp hour battery kit. Plus, get a free additional DeWalt 20-volt max 8-amp hour battery when you buy a DeWalt 10-inch 20-volt max dual bevel compounded miter saw. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/24 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
In the Palm Beaches, we are truly in a league of our own, with an unbeatable collection of year-round sports on display. Take a swing at tennis or pickleball, or get a front row seat to polo, baseball, and everything in between. Then, find out why we're called Florida's golf capital, with more than 145 beautifully manicured sun-soaked courses, perfect for pros and beginners. When it comes to sports destinations, there's no competition. Curate your vacation at thepalmbeaches.com.
Roger Brand, what do you have overhead door company's St. Louis Traffic Center?
Well, the backup now is back through Grand, Tom. So at least the right lane, it's almost Adelaide coming into downtown. That's the busiest approach due to the fact that 44 is closed between the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges. Eastbound 44 is just slow east of Park up to the Poplar, so it's not as bad on the south approach coming into downtown. Coming into downtown from the Illinois side, you've got that jam on southbound 255 midway down from 162 to Horseshoe Lake Road, westbound 64, bumper to bumper as you approach 25th Street up to the 70 split, and it remains heavy to 3rd Street where you lose those right-hand lanes. And because of that, 5570 itself is backed up and exchanged on to 64. Next update at 8:10 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry. Preston, stock market set to charge out of the gates as oil prices drop after the announcement of a peace deal between the U.S. and Iran. The first effect, opening up the Strait of Hormuz for the first time in months. Here's ABC's Martha Raddatz.
In addition to reopening of the strait, this initial agreement, according to a senior administration official, leads to the dismantling of the Iranian nuclear program, leads to the United States destroying and removing enriched uranium from Iran, calls for inspections to ensure a long-term commitment and that it's long-term enforceable. And Iran gets rewarded economically only if they meet the obligations under the deal.
Specific details about Iran's nuclear program still to be worked out. President Trump headed to the G7 summit this morning in the French Alps. And investigators are looking through the wreckage of a plane crash after 12 people died skydiving in Missouri. This is ABC News. Anthropic says it's taken its newest AI models offline following a Trump administration directive to ban its use by foreigners. ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang explains.
There was an earlier version of Mythos called Mythos Preview that had alarmed Washington and Wall Street when it was unveiled back in April over concerns that it could be used by hackers to break into financial and healthcare networks. So Anthropic only rolled that out to a small group of trusted partners under this program called Project Glasswing, which was done in collaboration with the U.S. government. So Anthropic's argument is that they've been working with the U.S. government leading up to this rollout to the general public.
The government saying it wants foreign nationals not to have access to the new AI models. In New York, that was the sound this weekend. Well, now the Knicks ticker tape parade down the Canyon of Heroes in Lower Manhattan is set to take place on Thursday. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, June 15th. I'm Megan Lynch. Interstate 44 remains closed between the Stan Musial Memorial and Poplar Street bridges for an extended period. The highway shut down Saturday evening, some 24 hours after a collapse of the pavement, a sinkhole.
The city of St. Louis did not provide any information until late Saturday afternoon when KMOX requested an interview. The police department tweeted they were working with MoDOT to shut down 44. St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy in a Sunday press conference.
District officers and traffic safety officers responded quickly and safely shut down the affected roadways, and it assisted with traffic control in multiple directions.
Water Division Deputy Commissioner Spencer Gold.
Our crews, our trained team of water professionals responded immediately, and as we always do with situations in this scope, we coordinated with other utilities as well as MoDOT, the mayor's office.
MoDOT engineer Jen Wade says Interstate 44, directly over the collapse at Broadway and Biddle, has exposed underground structures for one of the columns that holds up the bridge.
Right now, that exposure is not severe, but the conditions on site have the potential to continue changing. Keeping traffic off the bridge above reduces vibration of the columns, preventing further exposure from developing. We are working with the city's contractor on shoring up the area around this column so the rest of the repair work can be done while the interstate is open to traffic.
Wade says as of now, they expect the Interstate 44 closure between the Musial and Poplar Street bridges to remain closed for at least a week. Other areas with closures, North and South Broadway at Cass. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
We want to be very clear, this is not a commercial airliner that has crashed. It's a local airplane that took off from our local airport.
Bates County, Missouri Sheriff Chad Anderson not giving a specific number of people who died in a non-commercial plane crash Sunday morning. Broadcast reports indicate 11 people plus the pilot died in that crash. 11 passengers on board were skydivers, some first-timers.
We're still trying to identify family and make notifications, and so we're going to be respectful of that.
Anderson says more staff along with clergy have been brought in to be with the family at the scene of where the plane crashed. Authorities say the body of a missing teenage paddleboarder has been recovered from Beach Lake in Newtown after an extensive search.
Emergency crews recovered the teen's body shortly before 8:40 Saturday morning. The St. Charles City Fire Department says the teenager disappeared after falling from a paddleboard just before 8:15 Friday night. He did not resurface. Officials say that witnesses immediately entered the water in an attempt to find him while first responders were dispatched. Search teams then worked into the evening and were able to narrow the likely location of the victim before suspending operations overnight. Recovery efforts resumed Saturday morning, led by the Metro West dive team with assistance from several local agencies. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
A Florissant man who threatened to shoot 2 daycare workers will be in St. Louis County Circuit Court this morning. According to Creve Coeur Police, James Mosley of Florissant called in that threat to the daycare on Thursday. Fox 2 reports the facility was placed on lockdown. About 100 children were at the center that morning. Average gas prices in the St. Louis region down almost 8 cents today. That's according to Gas Buddy, which says the average price per gallon for the region is $3.97 for a gallon of regular unleaded. The national average sits at $3.99. Head of Petroleum Analysis, Patrick DeHaan, says it's the first time gas prices have fallen under $4 a gallon since mid-April. He says as long as a potential deal with Iran holds, gas prices will continue to fall. The city's water infrastructure problems and the need for massive overhaul was present Saturday with a huge sinkhole. St. Louis aldermen gave first-round approval to raising rates more than 80% over 6 years. Sponsor Michael Browning says years of artificially low rates have left the division deep in the red with century-old pipes and a backlog of work it can't pay for.
Without sufficient rate increases and without additional funds, it will not be possible to operate through the next fiscal year or replace and repair our aging infrastructure proactively or when it breaks.
City officials say St. Louis water rates have lagged behind St. Louis County and Kansas City for years, even as aging mains keep breaking. The rescue plan leans on the rate hikes, money from the Ram settlement, and borrowing. A final vote is still to come. The Missouri auditor sounding the alarm on the state's swiftly draining reserves. Does he believe Amendment 5 would make things better or worse?
Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick tells KMOX he doesn't view it as doing either.
I don't view it as being better or worse. I view it as being tax reform, and the question before us in August is going to be whether we want to be a state that funds its government primarily on income tax or sales tax.
However, when pressed for an answer, Auditor Fitzpatrick says he believes eliminating the income tax would spur economic growth in the state, which should lead to increased revenues. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Several St. Louis cities considering merging their fire departments. The Post-Dispatch reports officials from Olivet, University City, Clayton, Richmond Heights, Maplewood, Webster Groves, and Shrewsbury agreed to shell out up to $40,000 for a study into the merger. They say the cities don't have the resources to fight big fires by themselves, and a merge could allow emergency responses to be more flexible and efficient. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
The summer's finally here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. Don't let rising gas prices stop you from having a clean and healthy home. Zero Res is keeping comfort affordable with powerful cleaning at a price families can feel good about. Zero Res can handle every surface in your home: carpets, tile, grout, hardwood, laminate, upholstery, rugs, air ducts, and more. This week only, 3 rooms for $129 plus a 4th room for free. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the DGS special.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news. At 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10. Let's see how things are out there on the roads. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still backups coming into downtown, Megan. Eastbound 44, they reported a minor crash near the Poplar Street Bridge. Traffic's still just slow from Park to the Poplar. And, of course, 44, as we've been talking about, is still closed between the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridges. More traffic on eastbound 70. The delays from Adelaide all the way into, take your pick where you want to get off. But Tucker's your last option to get into downtown if you're on eastbound 70 right now. Southbound 255, still a little backup at Horseshoe Lake Road. Westbound 64 is still on the brakes from 25th Street to 3rd Street due to road work going on there. If you're on northbound Tesson Ferry, it's still backed up midway between Butler Hill and Mattis. North 270, primarily Big Bend up to Ladou's the busiest part. South 270, 364 down to Ladou's slow. Eastbound 64, a little heavy Maryville Center to Mason and then Lindbergh through the Interbelt. We have an incident I mentioned earlier, I think southbound 170 right near Page. Traffic is backed up at the Rock Road. There's lane blockage there, obviously. And then it's heavy from the Parkway to 64. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley is typically slow. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, a nice day today with sunshine and some clouds, the high 78. Mainly clear tonight, though, 59. For tomorrow, times of sun and clouds. There can be a thunderstorm or two around, mainly in the afternoon. It'll become breezy tomorrow afternoon with a high of 80. Wednesday, partly sunny, breezy, hot and more humid, but a chance for a severe thunderstorm later in the afternoon and evening. They can produce flooding, downpours, hail, damaging winds, and a threat of tornadoes. The high Wednesday, 91. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have sunny skies this morning, 65 degrees in Florissant, 67 in St. Peters, and 65 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. We will all be old someday, and that could make us vulnerable. We look at how to protect ourselves and loved ones on this World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Joining me in studio, Marjorie Moore, Chief Executive Officer of Age Smart Community Resources. Marjorie, good morning and welcome back to KMOX. Hey. So when we look at this issue, you put a post on LinkedIn, and that's what I saw. It really hit me. All the ways that people who are older can become victims of abuse. Over your years of working as an advocate for older people, what are some of the most common forms of abuse that you've seen?
By far and wide is financial exploitation. And so we often think of this as the scams from people who are calling us trying to get us money, get our money. It's happening. That happens to people of every age. And of course, older adults are more vulnerable to that. But 75% of abuse comes from a trusted loved one or caregiver. So, that's one of the things that we see a lot is a loved one who starts helping a family member with their money and then starts taking a little extra for themselves until that person's bled dry, or we'll see a caregiver who, slowly starts helping and then moves in, alienates somebody from the rest of their family member and ends up becoming a power of attorney and basically putting the person out. So, we see a lot of stuff like that, unfortunately, that is so common and often pushed aside by other people in the community because they think it's a family issue.
How often does it relate to finances?
Most of the time. But the scary thing is if somebody's being abused in one way, almost certainly they're being abused in other ways. So financial abuse may be the first way, but it often leads to other ways. Neglect can often follow that financial abuse.
Now, just because someone is in, for example, a care facility, does that mean they're more protected from something like this?
Not necessarily. In the days that I've worked, with the long-term care ombudsman program before I was working with this organization, we'd often see people who would have a power of attorney pull their Social Security and not pay the care facility. Of course, we saw caregivers potentially stealing from elders, and of course, physical abuse in facilities as well. So just because they're in a facility doesn't mean they're protected. The best thing you can do to make sure that you or a loved one is protected is to have multiple people that love them around them. And so making sure that somebody is frequently talking to your loved one, that you're talking to them, that they have other friends, that they're staying connected. That's one of the best ways we can all protect ourselves against any kinds of abuse.
I think that gets so hard as people age, especially, as they get older, they lose, a lot of their peer group. And so they lose those connections and those people who might be checking in on them. What do they do in that case?
Yeah. So one of the best things and one of the best tools that we have is the Aging Network. And that's the senior centers in our communities. We have volunteers who provide rides to some of those organizations. We've got congregate meal sites. We even have the Meals on Wheels programs where volunteers and staff members are actually delivering meals to somebody's house. So they're checking in on them regularly. So trying to find any way to tap into that network, even if you don't feel like you're a senior at 60, you're eligible for those programs. So we've got a lot of people that are like, oh no, that's just for old people. It's really for anybody over 60. And we're seeing those sites have younger people in them. So you're not just going in with the people that are 90. It's people of all of that older adult age.
What if there's someone listening right now who maybe they have an older loved one and they have some concerns that this might be happening, or they may be concerned this is happening to themselves? How can they be careful to report something so that it doesn't make things worse?
Yeah, so we have an adult protective services on both sides of the river. So the best thing you can do is to Google adult protective services in either Missouri or Illinois, whichever side of the river you're on. And you'll get connected with a program that's run by the state. In Illinois, it's run by the Southwestern Illinois Visiting Nurses. And what they'll do is send somebody out and they'll talk to you. They'll talk to your loved one. The thing that one of the biggest misconceptions is that they're going to take that elder out of the home. And that's not necessarily the case. They're going to work with that elder adult and work with the family to find something safe to do. So that is something that is, a really important thing. And anybody can make that report. It's a good thing to kind of get the ball rolling and get resources in, get things stopped before they go too far.
If you suspect something, what are some red flags?
Yeah.
To differentiate between what might just be something really normal and not abusive and something that could be someone taking advantage of an older person.
Yeah. So one thing is bruising. So, older adults can bruise more easily, and there's a lot of anticoagulants that make you bruise more easily. But if that bruise looks like a handprint, that's weird, right? So you're looking for things that are out of place, that don't make sense. If you're seeing all of a sudden somebody was always dressed to the nines, did the whole thing, and then all of a sudden is just showing up wearing sweats every day, hair unkempt, something's off. And, it may be actually a sign of something medically wrong, but it's important that you're talking to that person. Somebody's suddenly becoming withdrawn. All of a sudden you have a social butterfly who has alienated everybody around them except for one person. That's a sign that there may be a problem.
And again, the best places to go to get some resources and help.
Yeah, so reaching out to Adult Protective Services is a fantastic way. Also, we have 3 wonderful area agencies on aging in our area in Illinois. It's my organization, Age Smart. If you're in the city of St. Louis, it is St. Louis Area Agency on Aging. And within the county and the surrounding counties, it's Aging Ahead.
Marjorie, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thank you.
That is Marjorie Moore, Chief Executive Officer of Age Smart Community Resources, joining us this morning here on Total Information AM. Still ahead this hour, we're going to talk about that sinkhole that opened up on 44 downtown. They're saying right now that it's going to be at least a week while they work on that project. Roger Brand is going to give us some more details at the bottom of the hour. Before that, we're going to look at El Nino weather patterns and the fact that we could have a super El Nino this year. What could that mean and what could it do for us here in the Midwest? And then a little bit later, we're going to kind of continue this theme of older adults. You may not realize it, but there is a growing number of business entrepreneurs who are launching their first business over the age of 50. And there are some new ways that they can connect here in St. Louis. We're going to tell you about that coming up at 8:41. Let's get the latest on the roads for you with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our jams downtown, Megan. If you're headed in on the 64 run to the Poplar or eastbound 70, they're the busiest. This traffic reports the service of I-3 Broadband. Westbound 64 just west of 25th Street to 3rd Street is a solid jam. Still some slow traffic. Southbound 255 through Horseshoe Lake Road. Downtown eastbound 70, the busiest approach into downtown with a closure of 44 between the bridges. Eastbound 70 looks like we're backed up closer to Grand now. Primarily the right lane, obviously, through there. They're still working the, I can't tell if it's a stall or a crash. It's just down the hill out of my view, but I can see the left lane still blocked. Southbound 170 just south of Page, so you still have a jam back at about the Rock Road. After that, it's heavy Brentwood to 64. Eastbound 64, still some slow stuff east of 141 through Mason and east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64, still busy Hampton to Hanley. South 270 approaching Olive to Ladue is slow. North 270 have a heavy spot north of Gravois, and then approaching Doherty Ferry up to Ladue is busy, and Tesson Ferry still has that back up midway up from Butler Hill to Mattis. Telegraph Christopher up to Herb is backed up as per usual there. Time to toss out that dusty treadmill and your laggy cable internet. Upgrade to 100% in-home fiber from i3 Broadband. Plus, we're offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. No data caps, just pure speed. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and get started today. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a really nice day today. Pleasant with some clouds, a high of 78. Clear tonight, a low of 59. Right now, sunny skies, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's Tom Ackerman. It's pool time at the MAC. The MAC West Pool in Town and Country is hopping right now. They have a swim meet today, I do believe. They have great stuff going on before and after. It's just the best place to be right now, the Missouri Athletic Club pool. If you're a kid learning how to swim, or if you're a parent just wanting to kick back and have an ice-cold beverage by the pool, it's a great time to be at the MAC. The MAC Clayton is bustling right now for lunch and dinner. That event venue downtown is rolling right now, the Missouri Room, with weddings and events. All 3 locations are just having a great time serving members and guests. The Missouri Athletic Club. Yes, athletic is our middle name, but it's also about hospitality. It might as well be called the Missouri Hospitality Club. The Missouri Athletic Club, mac-stl.org.
Hair volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. You've likely heard of the El Nino weather pattern over the years when changes in ocean temperatures impact weather patterns worldwide. Well, this year, experts see this pattern in the Pacific Ocean earlier than normal and say it could become a super El Nino. Joining me now on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line is AccuWeather meteorologist Alex Duffus. Good morning, Alex, and welcome to KMOX.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
What are we seeing right now with the current El Nino?
So, as of June 11th, the Climate Prediction Center has declared that El Nino conditions are present. Basically, what that means is the waters west of South America and the Americas are warmer than what we typically see this time of year.
How does that impact global weather patterns?
So basically what this is going to do is it's going to amplify the southern jet, the Pacific jet. It's most notable during the cooler months of the year. That would be the fall and the winter months. And basically what happens is when you get an enhanced Pacific jet, you get a more active and wet pattern across the southern U.S.
At what point would this be called a super El Nino?
Yeah, so I would say that there's about a 70% chance that this will end up being a super El Nino. And we're predicting that will be in the winter months of this year.
How could that impact weather patterns?
Sure. For you guys in the Midwest and in St. Louis, the biggest impact that you will notice during the fall and the winter months is it's actually going to be more mild and typically drier than what we would see in a typical winter.
What could that do long term for the Midwest if we don't get some of the moisture that we typically would get over the winter months?
Sure. Long term, it could mean the potential for the risk of drought could increase in the winter months, and that could make it for a harder growing season coming into the spring and the summer of the following year.
Now, if this does escalate into a super El Nino, how could that impact other parts of both the United States and other areas of the world?
Yeah, I think the biggest impact for the U.S. is, you're going to have, when you have drier weather like we were talking about, for a few months during the winter season, that's also a time that you want to see rain and snow in the interior of the nation. That can continue to amplify the risk of drought into the growing season for North America. I would say for the southern U.S., that also is going to bring the risk with a more wet pattern that you could see flooding during the winter time and into the spring and summer months.
Could this trigger severe weather in any areas?
Yeah, I think we're seeing a little impacts now. I mean, for the summer months for the central U.S., we're going to see a pretty active severe weather pattern in the months of June and July.
And then, what will long-term experts be looking for over time if it does develop into a super El Nino?
Yeah, over time, you're going to continue to watch and see if El Nino will persist. It is typical that it cycles between El Nino and La Nina. It'll cycle between the two waters. So if it begins to cool, then we're looking at the shift to La Nina. And if it continues to stay warm, that risk of drought in the central U.S. will continue.
Alex, thanks so much. Appreciate the heads up on this.
All right. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
That is AccuWeather meteorologist Alex Duffus joining us this morning here on Total Information AM. Coming up, Roger Brand is not only going to give us the traffic, he's going to talk to us about that situation that we have downtown with that sinkhole that opened up on 44 and what's going to happen over the next few days with that, both with your traffic patterns and what that could mean long-term for our infrastructure there downtown. So stay with us. 827, this time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Just having a conversation over the weekend with someone who said they really need to get their deck fixed. It's falling apart and they can't put it off any longer. I know a lot of us put those things off, but here is some great advice for you. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. And yes, they are specialists with decks, but with so much else as well. They can really transform your outdoor space, whether you're looking for a fence or a deck. Maybe taking down the old deck or maybe building a brand new one where it hadn't been before. You can think about a new patio, a pergola, a sunroom, a screen room. one of those, built-in pizza ovens or fire pits or whatever you have in your mind for what you'd love your backyard to look like, Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. Quality products, quality installation, and a quality company that stands behind everything they do for more than 58 years. If you mention me, Debbie Monterrey, they'll take 20% off your next outdoor project. Visit them online right now at chesterfieldfence.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, John, why so glum? I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this. Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career. Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. And look, I've been using Burn Balance Complex since the week that it was released, and you notice the benefits really soon after you get started. Look, what Burn Balance Complex is a complete metabolism system. It is not just a fat burner. It works with your body, not against you, right? It's not bringing a lot of the negativity that other supplements bring. It's nothing but the good stuff. It's a natural weight loss option for people that just don't want prescriptions or injections. Get that. I understand it. And to me, Burn Balance Complex is the best thing I've used when it comes to natural weight loss. Also helps with reducing stress and lowering cortisol levels. You're going to get appetite and cravings control along with that, plus all-day focused energy with no jitters, which is the best part. Look, it's not magic. You got to put in the work. Burn Balance Complex makes putting in the work.
It's now 8:30. We're going to get your regular traffic report, and then we're going to keep Roger Brand with us because we want to talk to him about that problem that we've got coming up on the sinkhole that has opened up on 44. So first, let's get you to work, and then we're going to talk about what's going to happen over the next week with this thing. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, and that's where the bulk of the traffic is right now, Megan, at least the stuff that's backed up. This traffic reports the service of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Eastbound 70, it's backed up between Grand and Salisbury, so it's getting a little bit better, but it goes all the way up to Tucker. You know, the earlier you get off the highway, probably the better, but the choice is yours what you want to do or where you need to get to, obviously. Southbound 255, you still have delays. Midway down from 162 to Horseshoe Lake Road. Westbound 64, closer to Ball Avenue now to 3rd Street is still backed up. If you're traveling on the 170, they cleared that incident we had south of Page, so now there's some slow stretches. Delmar down to 64, South 270 approaching Oliveville. Dues busy. Eastbound 64, a little heavy at Mason, but still slow. Lindbergh into the Inner Belt of westbound 64, just west of Hampton to Hanley's off the pace. Northbound 270 at Gravois, and then Doherty Ferry up to Ladue is busy as well. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Okay, Roger, we're going to keep you on here because the craziest thing happened over the weekend. And for folks that are just tuning in or didn't see it on social media, there's a pretty significant sinkhole downtown. Could you describe this for listeners, where it's at and why it's causing so many problems for drivers this morning?
Yeah, it's well, if you travel through the heart of downtown in the area, they're just immediately north of the Arch Grounds, Broadway at Biddle. It's basically right underneath Interstate 44. They had a water main break, and then I don't know if that one triggered a couple other ones, but water pressure underground when it gets out of a pipe, I mean, it can erode the soil pretty rapidly, especially a water main. I mean, I've seen what it can do just with a downspout drain coming off my house. So when you have that kind of water pressure, even if there wasn't a sinkhole there originally, I mean, it eroded enough of the ground underneath there to cause the pavement to collapse. And the problem is that it, like I said, this is right underneath that elevated section of Highway 44, the part that goes from the dome to the north leg of the arch. That's all above the city streets. And that's right where this sinkhole occurred. So MoDOT, obviously, from a safety standpoint, was worried about, how secure is that overpass? I mean, they to have heavy traffic crossing on it, and the site, oscillations, the vibrations from the traffic. So they decided as a safety concern to shut it down, obviously until they can get that sinkhole repaired. But just, they want to inspect to make sure that there wasn't anything, nothing's going to be a problem on the overpass on the interstate itself.
What's the challenge for the crews? Number one, working in it's kind of a tight area where they will be working there and making sure that they really get a view, as it were, of what's happening with those peerings for that overpass.
Yeah, I mean that's I haven't been able to see like exactly where the peerings are in relation to the sinkhole. I mean, I know it's basically right there, but I think they've got to make sure that the area around those has to be shored up properly. So I'm sure. I don't know, what the water company, how they repair water mains and what their standard procedure is, but I would imagine that MoDOT has engineers, and they're probably going to be on scene to make sure that that everything's done properly, or maybe they have to backfill with gravel before they put dirt in, like when you're working on a retaining wall, to make sure that the area around the peerings for the interstate is shored up properly before they, once they fix the water main, before they cover it back up and then, repave the, with the asphalt and everything. So it may be a more involved process just because of the structural integrity of the interstate and the proximity to that sinkhole. By the way, I did a little quick research. There are 16,000 sinkholes in the state of Missouri. So it's not an uncommon thing. And the largest one is in Boone County, right near the Missouri River where Interstate 70 crosses, just west of Columbia. And that sinkhole is 700 acres. So this one's pretty small, but it's significant.
Yeah, causing a lot of problems. So what that means is you'll have to listen to KMOX and Roger Brand in the morning and afternoon to make sure you get around that. Correct, Roger?
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad today, but downtown streets, and I know there's extra officers out there, and I'm sure they're looking at the timing of the signals and everything. So, if there were any hiccups this morning, hopefully they'll, smooth those out. And maybe it won't be as bad for the rest of the week.
That is Roger Brand joining us this morning. Thanks for your help.
Sure.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family-operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, pleasant with sunshine, some clouds today, a high 78. Clear skies tonight with an overnight low of 59. We could see a thunderstorm tomorrow. Expect a high near 80. Right now, sunny skies, 65 downtown at the Arch.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
We have a deal. The U.S. and Iran have reached an interim agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Officials are due to sign the accord this Friday. Meantime, Federal Reserve Chair Kevin Warsh finally steps into the spotlight. The central bank gathers this week and is widely expected to hold its benchmark rates steady on Wednesday, while waiting to see how the energy price shock ripples through the economy. His first press conference will be scoured by Wall Street for clues on what's next. And American Express has agreed to buy TripAdvisor's reservation management platform, The Fork, for $700 million, boosting its operations in Europe. The Fork connects more than 50,000 restaurants in 11 countries in Europe. Amex is a major force in the dining and hospitality industry, having acquired the restaurant and events platforms Resi and Talk. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
And now at Staples, save 25% on all custom banners.
Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Some banners available same day when ordered by 12 p.m. Ins 8-1 exclusions apply.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover. Right now, buy 4 windows and get 4 free and 48 months with 0% interest, same as cash. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
For 70 years, Rottler Pest Solutions has helped homeowners stay ahead with preventative pest solutions designed to stop problems before they start. From spiders and mice to stinging insects and more, trust the local experts. Schedule your free inspection today at Rottler.com.
Let's see how things are moving on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
There's not much change downtown, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Scott Credit Union. Eastbound 70 still has a jam between Grand and Salisbury. And again, the exits are backed up, obviously. And Tucker's your last option to get off onto the downtown streets because, 44 between the bridges remains closed, obviously. Southbound 255, you're still slow. Midway down from 162 to Horseshoe Lake Road. Westbound 64 from the 70 split to 3rd Street. That's bumper to bumper right now. Northbound 270 still has a slowdown. Gravois midway up to 44, then approaching Manchester up to Ladue. Southbound 270 approaching Olive down to Ladue is busy. If you're on eastbound 64, it's off the pace. Lindbergh all the way to Big Bend. South 170 is busy from Olive all the way down to 64, and westbound 64 is slow, Hampton to Hanley. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Going to be a nice day today. Pleasant with some sunshine and clouds, a high 78 right now. Sunny skies, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Upgrade your summer ride with auto loan rates as low as 3.99% APR at Scott Credit Union. New or used, Scott Credit Union helps you love your ride and your rate. Learn more at scu.org. Rates vary, terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. 1 in 10 people between the ages of 55 and 64 have started a new business in the last 3 years. There's a new effort to connect these later in life entrepreneurs with each other and with resources. It's called STL Encore Connect. I spoke with Colleen Mulvihill, SBDC business counselor and small business development manager at the St. Louis Economic Development Partnership, and Kevin Wilson, executive director of the St. Louis Small Business Empowerment Center.
Individuals age 50 plus who are either looking to go into business ownership, they're already in business, they're thinking about possibly planning for retirement, and they need not only that supplemental income, but also, they want to create a lifestyle that includes their passions, their experience, etc. So we've learned that, it's actually one of the fastest growing segments is individuals age 55 to 64, and they actually account for over 25% of all new businesses across the country.
That's incredible to me. I really love this thought of people kind of reinventing themselves later in their careers.
Yeah, I love that too, Megan. Actually, I even read about something called, they were referring to it as the unretirement trend. So instead of, the way we traditionally think about retirement planning, again, not just about financials, but the intellectual stimulation, creating that sense of purpose for yourself and keeping the social connection. I think that the community connection portion of this is so important.
STL Encore Connect. How will this work?
Between our organizations here, we have Missouri SBDC, and specifically the St. Louis region for Small Business Development Centers. I am an SBDC business counselor, and I also work out of the St. Louis Economic Development Partnership. And then I'll let Kevin tell you a little bit about himself, if that's okay.
Absolutely. I'm also with America's Small Business Development Centers of Missouri, and I've been with the program for approximately 26 years now. And it's a fantastic program. It is a great connection in terms of entrepreneurs and small business owners getting connected to knowledge, education, university knowledge, and wisdom being applied to small business. And so it's a great opportunity for small business owners to gain access to knowledge and resources to help them grow their business.
Kevin, what do these older entrepreneurs bring to the table?
Great question. One of the things I think is that, there's so many individuals who have been working at a job and been experts in their field for 30, 40 years, and now want to utilize that same knowledge, that same expertise in their own venture. And so this is a great opportunity that they have here with this new program. It's a great networking opportunity to help them gain access to the knowledge and resources that can help them launch that venture. And they already have experience in that field. And so we're just helping them with an on-ramp, if you will, to all the programs that are available to them.
What could this do for the economy if we have better supports for these experts that then branch out on their own?
Yeah, I think as far as job creation, this could be a really, important aspect of that, because we know that, I don't know, maybe it's 99 point something percent, of our businesses in the U.S. are considered small businesses, and they are the biggest employers of our, country. So it's really important to think about, that these entrepreneurs and business owners can have a great effect on our community, on the economic development aspect of St. Louis.
Would you imagine that some of these older entrepreneurs would pass this business on when they retire then? Are they mentoring younger professionals that they've brought into the fold?
Absolutely. And, succession planning is such a big topic right now for small business owners, especially, family-owned businesses. And we have so many of those in St. Louis. So really offering some of that kind of, just knowledge and being able to, through Encore Connect, get connected to some experts that can help with that succession planning and, really help them establish their legacy business and what they want that to look like.
Let's say someone is listening to this and they're considering this for themselves. What are some of the first questions that they need to get answered before they could launch something like this?
Fantastic question. So I think, every entrepreneur needs to run through a series of questions, and it's best when they can do it with others, right? So that they can get real-time feedback and understanding. But they need to really understand, number one, are they a real entrepreneur? Are they really interested in starting a venture, or would it be better to get another job, right? And so, and because it takes a set of skills to be successful in entrepreneurship. Number one, you got to be organized. You got to be self-motivated. You have to you got to be ready for rejection, because everybody's not going to love your idea, right? And so when we're asking these questions and they're ruminating on their answer to these questions, it'll bubble up to the surface of whether entrepreneurship is a right path for them. And many will, once they get these questions, they'll self-select out. But many will figure out, like, oh wow, this is for me, and I am ready. And now, what are those next steps I need to take?
When it comes to those next steps, for someone to be successful over 50, launching into something new, what do they need to have in place?
I think that assessing their goals. So what do you want out of this? Is this going to be a lifestyle business? Do you want a little extra income on the side to supplement, something else? Or do you want this to be a scalable venture that you really want to invest, your heart and soul and your passions and everything into? So I think determining what are their goals, what do you want from this? And I think with Encore Connect, that's one of the things that we'll address, and we can talk about helping them get to that place of understanding what they would like to gain from their venture.
That's Colleen Mulvihill and Kevin Wilson. STL Encore Connect will have its first online meeting next Tuesday, the 23rd. You can register by going to St. Louis SBDC on Facebook. Coming up next on Total Information AM, there are some pretty complex ways that social media apps keep us scrolling. I'll speak with KMOX media expert Julie Smith.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Auld and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, June 16th at the All Financial Group office. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark. $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now. Cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. I call Instagram a black hole of time. By the time I pull myself away, I've probably shared about half a dozen reels with my husband so that then he can experience the same time suck that I just did. And it makes us wonder, how do these apps keep us scrolling? Joining me, KMOX media expert Julie Smith. We talk a lot about algorithms, but really there's a lot more to it than that.
There's so much more to it. And I think it's important to remember that if you ever feel like if you're in a shame spiral because of how much time you spend online, don't feel ashamed about it, because that just means the apps are working exactly the way they're designed to work.
So we're just victims.
Yes, we shouldn't feel guilty at all. Okay, so there, you've been absolved. But there's this woman, her name is Micheline Doucleff, and she wrote this book, Why You Can't Stop Scrolling, The Science of Dark Flow. And, you and I have talked about flow, that idea that when you're doing something really interesting or fascinating, time moves at a different pace. And she says that that's what happens when we're online, that we tend to lose track of how much time that we're online. And she gives 4 specific reasons why. And I think these are really interesting. Like if you're reading the newspaper, the content is finite. right? You can read the newspaper and then you're done.
You're done with an article and you move on.
Right. But online, the content is infinite. There's no stopping point. There's no natural stopping point. It's also, like you mentioned with the algorithms, it's personally tailored to each one of us. So my Instagram feed is going to be completely different than yours because our algorithms are different. So it's aimed at us, which makes it really appealing. And this is interesting. She says that a lot of our time online resembles Las Vegas. And I didn't really understand this until I read it further. What she means is that we're always looking for like that next thing. It's like, what does she call it? Unpredictable rewards. So it's not
kind of that thrill.
Yeah. Or like maybe the next one is going to be really amazing or funny. And so you keep going just to see what that next one is like. I mean, because it might be hilarious. And then also there's that whole social connection, that we as humans love when we share things and like things. And so there's that interaction aspect to it too. And our brains love novelty and anticipation. So this makes perfect sense that these are the reasons that we just waste a lot of time and without even realizing it.
Does the length of a lot of these contribute to it at all? That a lot of this is very short burst. You've talked about that before, that we're kind of losing our ability for things to hold our attention for a long period of time.
Right. It's short form video. And it's so effective that even Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, even YouTube now have their shorts, right? I'm using air quotes. Every platform calls them something different. Like with Instagram, it's Reels, but they all realize that that's like catnip for our brains. And so it keeps us on the app longer. I used to call TikTok short attention span theater, but I can't imagine that there isn't a ton of research out there saying that it's affecting our long-term attention spans.
You mentioned gambling. I mean, can we legitimately call this addiction, or is it really lack of self-control?
I would love to say that it's lack of self-control, but I think they are designed to be addictive. And that's what some of the litigation is about, is that these apps were designed to be addictive. Well, I'm not sure that that's illegal necessarily. I mean, we can talk about that another day, but I think like I mentioned at the beginning, I really don't think that we should feel bad. I think these apps are just operating exactly the way they're designed to operate.
How can we train ourselves away from it?
Maybe set a timer. Maybe take some of the apps off your phone, or move some of the apps to the second or third page of your phone so that they don't pop up immediately. It's a big challenge because it is so appealing and so, this is probably a stretch, but intoxicating almost,
And personally tailored just to us.
Personally tailored just to us. And it is, like you said, you send reels to your husband. I send reels to my sons because it's a way of pebbling. Have you heard that phrase where the penguins just bring a little pebble over to each other? It's just a way of saying hi without having to make the commitment of a phone call, which is so old school now.
All right. That is KMOX media expert Julie Smith. Thank you so much.
Coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM, we're going to look at the psychology behind some of the teen takeovers that we have seen in the St. Louis area recently. Also, I need to send a shout out, a big thanks to Rich and Ken from the Illinois Department of Transportation's Motorist Assist. They helped me with a flat tire this morning. They kept me safe, got me to work here so I could be on the air. So thank you very much for your service this morning.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends.